We crack open the cold one with the crew. Rod J bringing brews, AP got the scoop. Midwest vibes, pouring pints, yeah we grinding. Sales of Fox and Morse, keep your minds rewinding. Across the state, spread the word, that's how we do. From the craft to the cans, always something new. Raise your glasses, cheers to the chip we sold. And every sip, till the stories evolve.
Hear news blowing up, hear the chatter.
Midwest Beer Show, race in the crowd. Roger on the mic with the passion and blast. Dave Z's got the knowledge for an history fast.
What is up, y'all? We are back for another Midwest Beer Show, which is, I don't even know what episode we've done by now, but we've been doing it for a bit.
Since the summer.
Months or so. Yeah. So it's been a fun ride. Me, Rod J, my homie here, Dave Z, Beer in Front. You want to check him out? If you're here on my channel, you already know to check me out. So we'll if you're your first time here, we get into some beer news. Yeah. We drink some beers and we have some great conversation. Although it is January, so we are at a 50% dry January, 50% not dry January. So, but that's good because Dave can also Dave's partaken, so he can give some dry January stuff. And we got some pieces for you dry January folks as well.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Happy New Year to everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, Happy New Year. And if you're watching the game there, Dave's got the little game down below what he's watching. Being in Chicago, he's rooting for the Bears, right? So.
If any random MFers coming out of my mouth, the Packers did something.
And as for me, well, I'm college basketball. I already had a good day because West Virginia knocked off Kansas. So that was a great win for us there, our first quad one win in basketball. So we have a shot to make the tournament this year, which would be nice to see. Yeah. So got some ballers for sure. Yeah. But we're not here to talk sports. We're here to talk beer. Whatever you guys are having out there, feel free to let us know. Drop a comment and share that in the comment section as well. We always want to know what you're finding intriguing. And then if we can pick them up on our channels, we will definitely take a look at those as well.
Yeah.
But Dave, what do you got right there? You want to start with what you're drinking with the NAs?
Yeah, I picked it up today, and I've heard really good things about it, but today was the first time I picked it up, the Samuel Adams Just the Haze, so it's non-alcoholic. I like it. I'm a big fan. So far, this is the first one I've had. This is right up there at the top of my NA beers. I think this one's really good flavor. The aroma is solid, just a solid NA beer.
Nice. I'm going to have to swing by the Cincinnati taproom and get some of that at some point here so I can check it out for sure. But everybody seems pleased with it.
Yeah.
So.
Real quick before we get off, because you're in Cincinnati, did they have that on draft when you were there?
When I was there last, it was back in December or end of November, so they didn't have it really out there yet. I think they had it canned. I think they just had it canned, but being dry January, I wouldn't be surprised if they had some kegs in there and they have it on draft. So,
because I would like to try some more NA stuff on draft, because there's always a difference in flavor, and in my opinion, many beers taste better on tap. So I wonder how something like this would be.
Yeah, I would definitely like to do a little test there as well. So, I'll check it out and kind of see if they do have it there, and I'll let you know for sure. And Vanessa in the house, she's got the cold H2O. So,
all right.
Actually, Vanessa, I have some H2O in here as well, and to get your beer on water bottle.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things we'll talk about in one of the stories we have about if you're not doing dry January, some other things you can kind of do to get your health on as well, so to speak. And shout out to Nash coming in there on your channel there. Hey, cheers. Great to see you as well. And happy Saturday night. So I'm going to actually crack open one. You may have not seen this yet, or maybe you did. You have to get it in the variety pack usually. However, our Kroger started breaking up the variety packs and selling them individually. So they put 3 in to make your own 6-pack, and guess who bought all 3? This guy. So, I'm a fan of Bell's, and I'm going to be checking out the Red Hearted IPA, the Red IPA. So this is one they just came out with over the last month or two, 8% ABV, And I'm a sucker for red ales, red IPA, red IPA, black IPA, just off the non-traditional stuff. It's like, yeah, I want to check it out. Now, I have had one of these already, and I will tell you it is good. So if you happen to see it, go ahead and pick it up. But I'm just going to enjoy it here for the show as we do the news and everything like that. Give it a nice pour there. Put on the little spinner. Got to spin it around, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. My battery may have died. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's not spinning right now, but I'll sit it there anyway. I didn't check the batteries before I put it up there. I know people like the spinner. You got the spinner now too. So
I got the spinner, yep.
Let's take a look at this beer here. Nice reddish color. You get nice feel of the undertone of the caramel as well. Nice maltiness in here. So if you get a chance to get out there, if you're a Bell's fan, pick that actually up, because I think you'll definitely enjoy it if you are into the reds. All right. So let's take a look. Let's start breaking down, because we actually came across the amount of news at the last second that was not really expected to have. So we've got a chock-filled show here.
I figured we were going to be in and out. I could watch 3/4 of the game, and I look, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of stuff. All right, let's do it.
Let me take a look here, and I'll get this first one pulled up. And this is actually one that you actually found out there in the research as we talk about the Motley Crue.
Motley Crue, yes, and Grain Belt. So if you're in the state of Minnesota, August Schnell, who I guess is the producer of the iconic Grain Belt beer, they're going to come out with the Motley Crue Carnival of Sins. It's called the Northeast Amber Lager. That's going to be coming out very soon, if it's not out already. You got to love Motley Crue. I mean, old school Motley Crue, like, Kickstart My Heart, stuff like that. So, yeah, they're doing a collaboration. So if you're in Minnesota, look for that. I know we don't get any Grain Belt here, but if I saw that, I would definitely grab it.
So we're looking at a 4.7% ABV American Amber Lager. So should be crisp and clean and malty up front. Yeah, it's funny. The Motley Crue beer coming out now in the last days MTV, because MTV was officially ended this week. So now you got a nostalgia beer. But I was reading some of the different things about MTV, and somebody had done like a video, like the top 10 MTV videos in their opinion, and it had like the one with the Wiggle Girls, Addicted to Love, Robert Palmer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then it had also like Sledgehammer, and of course it had Thriller, and all the different ones that brought back all the memories and stuff that came back. But it was pretty cool, and kind of sad to see it was gone. But you know what? I felt like it was gone ever since they started doing Real World and Road Rules and all of that. Like they stopped really putting stuff out on the video channel. You get the side channels to actually see stuff. But back in the day when MTV came out, for us Gen Xers, it was pretty cool. It was like a changing thing for sure. So, but yeah, Green Belt, Northeast, be brewed in collaboration, Motley Crue, Carnival Sins. And did it get released yet, or you said it's going to come out? Oh, stay tuned.
I think it's coming out soon,
Oh, they're going to tie it to a tour, it looks like, too, because they have tour details as well. So there we go. All right. So, yeah, for all you Motley Crue fans out there, here's a beer you could actually jump in as well. Let's see here. Get some of the comments coming in. Let's see. I don't know what the creaky creek. Then WVU, maybe you were going for there, like West Virginia. If you're talking about the stuff over here, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So then we had the other story, which is I always find it funny when someone says, like, I don't know why, but elderberry. It makes me think of something like the Princess Bride or something like that. Is kind of just one of those weird things that you actually hear. But we have the MCC grown elderberries. Yeah,
McHenry County College. So they have a center for agrarian learning, and I butchered that, but they're going to be using the elderberries that they grew at the college into a beer from Kishwaukee Brewing, which is out in Woodstock, Illinois. Great brewery. So this is going to be pretty cool. They're going to be doing it Thursday, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go because it's about a good hour, 15 hour and 30-minute drive. So I'm not going to be able to make it, but that sounds really cool because I do like elderberry. So elderberry in collaboration with the beer should be good. 4.5% alcohol. So something that's not heavy, should be a good, nice fruity beer. And, you know, if it's coming from Kishwaukee, I know it's going to be good.
Okay. Yeah. 4.5 featuring base of barley, oats, and wheat, creating a balanced foundation, allows the elderberries to shine. Beer offers notes of currants, blackberries, and blueberries, complemented by a woody, dry finish. Okay. That doesn't sound bad at all. Not your typical, what I would say, like a wheat ale when it does the fruit. So, but you do have you had elderberries just as elderberries, or do you just have like the flavor in beer usually?
You know what? You broke up. I don't know if it's my connection, but I didn't hear a thing you just said.
Have you ever had elderberries just as elderberries? Or
no, I've had it in pie.
Okay.
I've had like an elderberry pie. I don't think I've just like gone to the produce market or the farmer's market and just picked up elderberries on their own.
Okay. I didn't know if you could. I just think you said it's one of those things where it's like, obviously, I guess people do eat it as fruit, but I've never seen it in my grocery store as elderberries, like being there next to the raspberries or blackberries or blueberries or anything. So I didn't know if you had to go on a pilgrimage to find no more. Go out there and forage to see how common they were, or if they were more like kind of an ingredient people like to use for various things. So
yeah,
elderberries. So how do you feel about lab grown meat?
I don't know. One, if it's going to be cheaper than meat, then I'd have to give it some thought because meat is expensive. But I would say no to that. Like,
yeah. Meat prices have definitely jumped up, but this piece here that was on one of the sites talks about beer could be the next frontier in lab-grown meat. Basically, off the yeast, I guess, that they're finding some benefit of it to help grow meat in the lab, which, you know, there's always speculation about, are we getting real meat at the store or not? Or is this like lab-grown? Because, you know, we get some of the stuff we get nowadays compared to the old sizes. Like, did they like increase the size of like chickens or cat? Like, there's some big, almost Fred Flintstone pieces of stuff you're getting nowadays when you go. So maybe that's coming from the lab.
There's some steroids in that. Those are like Jose Canseco chickens that you're getting out there. Yeah.
Somebody put the needle in the chicken's ass to grow. So yeah. But it's like, I mean, I'm with you. I'm not really looking forward to having something like that. But then again, it's almost like resources, they go down. You got to do something to be prepared for. So it could be something in the future. I won't be around for it, I don't think. But, you know, it's kind of interesting. But that's where they're at now, working on these lab-grown meat and beers at the center of it to be a possible way for them to do it even better than what they're doing. So
I mean, I'll be long dead and buried, and I'm not having any kids. I don't know if I'd want to, you know, be having that if a little younger.
Yeah. Now, I will say it does give something there for the environmental side, because they're talking about being able to use basically the waste of the grains and stuff like that from the brewing. So giving it a secondary use is good for an environmental type purpose. But yeah, it's like, you know, we talked about the wastewater being used and recycled for beer. And it's like, I don't want that either. Right. So it's kind of like, I don't know. We'll see what the future holds out there. But I don't remember them ever in Blade Runner, like, hey, let me go ahead and get some of that lab meat, you know. But maybe they were. Maybe that's why in Demolition Man, he was happy to see a rat burger. Maybe that's how it worked.
I mean, if you could get me a fillet for a couple bucks, then, you know, I'll think about it.
It better be a damn good filet, though.
Yeah.
I want that to take that on. Shout out to Ryan in the house. Matt and I watched them play football and recorded some reviews. Nice. I think you broke up and froze that time, I believe. Would you say, Dave?
I just lost your feed. No, I just lost your picture, but now we're back.
Okay, yeah, it looked like you were
It
frozen.
could be me because I got the Bear game going on. It could be my connection because I got like 3 things going. I got the Bear game on one window. I got all of our notes here, but it looks like we're back.
Yeah, it looks like we're going here. But if you guys are seeing us break up when you're watching, just let us know as well. Yeah. I do got OBS testing right now too, so I could actually sit here, and if I want, I can like flip cams and stuff, which is actually
look
cool.
at you.
We're trying to move up in the tech world. We're trying to move up, so baby steps.
Yeah.
So Ryan, who you got? You got the Bears or you got the Packers? Let us know. Let Dave know, because you know who Dave's got. Had a great time actually with Ryan and Matt. We got together over at Nine Giant at their fermentorium last week. They've actually got the video stuff coming out on that, and got a chance to talk with the owner that was there as well. Some good conversation, good introduction for them because they had not met the owner, and great beers over there they actually had. So I put the one video on TikTok. I think I might have the beer here actually, but the owner was kind of, we had met last year at CBC, but he's nice to provide this for me to check out. And I had the one they had on draft, which was a candy floss. It's a maple syrup based barrel aged, but this is one they did for the holidays. It is a gingerbread and candy canes, molasses, vanilla beans, ginger, cloves, cinnamon, milk, sugar, and peppermint.
Nice.
So that'll be one I'll get into at some point here. 13.8% ABV. Bourbon barrel pastry stout. Yeah, maple bourbon barrel imperial stout as well. So, but the fermentorium at Nine Giant was great. I like it better than the other side. It's more their experimental stuff. So they really get into some funky like combinations they're doing. Said Dave got choppy for a bit. All good now. Okay. So like it was just on yours there.
All right, cool.
I am rooting for the underdogs, but don't have much faith they can pull it off against the Bears. Yeah. People like underdog stories. So, I mean, Dave doesn't because Dave wants the Bears to win.
Green Bay's not an underdog. Get out of here. Green Bay's an underdog. The shit.
According to the bookies, maybe.
Yeah. Underdog.
We definitely did have some great beers that night for sure. It was a great time. So we'll have to set up a next connect at another brewery here as well. Let's see here. So this is an interesting thing because I actually saw this pop up on some other stories or feeds like on Facebook and on the internet. Get it right here. But the beer poking. Yeah. Did I lose you there? You fell out again?
No, the stupid bears trying to be cute.
Oh, okay. But the beer poking, I didn't know how much you actually saw this, and this has kind of been an interesting phenomenon that's kind of going around right now. Started over basically in the UK, where you take a hot metal rod and you put it into the beer, and it caramelizes the ingredients and makes it even that much more smoothie. As a smoky character, which I'm all about the smoke, so that had my interest right there as well. Makes it a little more frothy. And I said it puts in like a roasted marshmallow feel to it as well, possibly. Yeah. So have you seen any of the breweries that have been doing it around where you're at? I haven't seen any here yet.
Actually, Dovetail does it, I'm not going to say all the time, but they do it quite often. So they, because that's a traditional German European brewery, and all of their, you're never going to get an IPA at Dovetail. So they old school methods. So they do the hot poker from time to time.
Yeah. And I misspoke. It is Germany. I said the UK, but it is Germany from the tradition there. It's noted here as well. I'd be interested to check it out and see. Now they are doing it up in Minnesota. August Shell Brewing here in the Midwest as well. They've actually, which I didn't realize, but they're the second oldest independent brewery in the country. So I guess that puts them behind Yingling then, right?
Yeah,
Yingling's number
Yingling's
one,
still got to be number one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't realize they were up there with that as well.
But did you see the one thing towards the bottom of this article? It's like there's a $3 upcharge to poke your beer with a hot stick.
Yeah, so
$3 to stick a hot stick in your beer? Come on now. You're just ripping off the customer. $3 in this economy? 50 cents. That's it.
Well, he said people were doing it. He said people are liking the $3 upcharge. They're paying it with no problem. So many as 30 pokes a week.
All right. Well,
it's
we all would like 30 pokes a week. Yeah.
Not sounding like a brewery as much at this point. Yeah. But $3 will get you 30 pokes. All right, I'm in. Yeah. And it'll make it nice and frosty for you too. There you go. So apparently he's saying with competition to attract beer lovers is something different for them to be able to do. But I'm thinking you're going to see more breweries that may do this, maybe up in Minnesota if they're seeing the success they're having, and it'll start to spread a little bit. Like I said, I haven't seen anybody do this in Cincinnati, but you've seen it at Dovetail in Chicago. So it's definitely out there.
It has to be, a place that's like a traditional European brewery. I don't think you're going to see it at like a Hop Butcher or something like that, because it just doesn't fit. So it has to be a more old school traditional brewery. But yeah, I could see more people doing that. Anything, like we talked before, that gets people in the door. You gotta be ahead of the chains here. You gotta keep thinking. Yeah.
You gotta do something to make it stand out, right? So we had some great, we definitely had some great beers there. So we could just meet up at the Kroger Tasting Bar. We could. They actually, last week when I was there, and I didn't get any because I was just in and out, but they had the Warped Wing barrel aged one on tap. I'm like, what are you trying to do? Get people hammered walking around Kroger in here, putting up double digit ABVs, and it's like for $6 or whatever it is. Like,
they want you to buy more stuff, man.
It's funny when you get a better deal with the Kroger than you do. You get a better deal with the Kroger than you do at the breweries or the bars. It's like kind of funny that happens. Yeah, people were going over to the sushi bar or the sandwich bar, just bringing it back and sitting there drinking and eating. So, several poke beers at Chris Kendall Market.
Chris Kendall Market.
Okay. So Ryan's had some. Gravel Road Brewing in Middletown is one of the only local I know that does poke. Okay, so we do have somebody here local because Ryan's here in Cincinnati with me as well. So I have to maybe pay them a visit and see what that's all about. Feels weird walking into a brewery and be like, hey, poke me. I mean, that just doesn't sound right, though. And then this one here, this is just interesting. It's not in the Midwest. It's just east of us here. But we had a thing out of Pennsylvania where they had another closing of one of the Voodoo brewing lines, right? Well, Voodoo has been one of the national chains that's been going across the country. We had one in Cincinnati that ended up closing down. I think there was one maybe in either Columbus or Cleveland that also just closed recently, but here's one out of Erie, PA. It's kind of an interesting model. I mean, you end up having this national brewery that you're a part of, but they all have like independent owners. So you kind of get the franchise, the Voodoo name, but you can brew the different things you want to brew there. And I don't know in today's marketplace if there's really a spot for them to do that because of all the loyalty and the allegiances that people are having to their local community. You're in the community, but you're probably a local person in the community, obviously, as the owner, but your beer isn't really the community. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know if they're having issues where people are just like, I'll try it here or there, but then I'm out, and they can't hold enough people to actually stay there and be involved in their beer. I don't know if you've seen any of the Voodoos up there where you're at, if they've come to Illinois.
I've never seen that. I know of the name, and at first, I'm thinking, I remember that Black and Voodoo, what was it, Dixie, before they changed their name, and then they went under. And then obviously Voodoo Ranger. You would think Voodoo Ranger would buy the by the name up.
Well, you would think, or they would have challenged him in a lawsuit or something. But yeah, like Stone did with Keystone that year.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if they're going to make it as much longer. They started the franchise, I want to say it was like back maybe 2018 or so. No, 2005. Wow, longer than I thought. So by the time we saw it, it was just over 10 years later. But it's just interesting. Like I said, you're in the local community, but you're not really a local beer. You're on a national scale. Yeah. So in the way that it's been nowadays, I don't know if you can get people to actually buy in to want to enjoy that beer. So,
yeah, I mean, everything now is just so hyper local that, you want to just stick with, your neighborhood brewery. Right. And not that there's not people in the neighborhood working at these voodoos, but, you'd rather buy something from your brewery down the street, or this is your Cincinnati brewery or your Pennsylvania, wherever you are.
Right.
We had places like that here. I mean, Rock Bottom was here for a while. The Ram was here for a while, and they're no longer. I mean, they hit a nice run, but it's just, times have changed.
Yeah, I used to enjoy going to Rock Bottom. We had one here in Cincinnati that was on our Fountain Square, and it was decent enough. Some of their beers I did like, and the food was decent. And you just knew it was going to be like more of that chain brewery restaurant. So it wasn't like, you were going to try to compare it against Rheingeist or Mantry or some of these other local independents. But at the same point, it's kind of like I see now where we have like BJ's, which does a really good clientele. But that would have been a competition for like for them, but I like going to BJ's, and I like some of the beers they're putting out, and again, good food. So there's a spot where it's like, okay, I don't say you're an actual brewer like BJ's and Amar. I mean, they get their beer shipped because I don't think any of the BJ's really brew on site, but they do have their own brewing on the beers they're doing. But it's kind of like you're a restaurant brewery foremost and just a brewery that has food. You know what I mean? So I just put them in a different area. But like I said, I think they might have some trouble. So speaking of trouble,
big trouble.
Let's get into this one here, because this is kind of interesting to see what's going to happen with all of this that's taking place. So we've talked previously about the whole drama out of North Carolina and Charlotte with Sycamore. So now they're coming out where they've changing their name, Club West Brewing. Club West. There's already been comments calling it Club Molest already. Like, wow. I mean, I don't make the rules, or I just report what's out there. But like one of our buddies, Chase, who's Nutmeg the Palmetto, he's down in South Carolina. He saw comments where people calling it Club Molest. I don't know how they can keep the owner, the wife, like they're saying, well, she filed for divorce proceedings and she's going to be the sole person now and all this stuff. But the proof is in the pudding. Right now, people aren't seeing it, or they're not believing it. And I mentioned before when we were talking about it, she's got kind of a little bit of a shady history as well, it seems, that where I guess some of the people aren't her biggest supporters or biggest fans. But it's kind of crazy. They're going to, if they try to hold on to it. And even when you go through this piece here, by the time you get to the end, it's pretty much saying they have to look maybe to sell out to someone else that's not affiliated with them, because people just aren't buying into it, apparently. Let me scroll down here. Like the bottom line, experts envision the most viable path forward, selling to an unrelated buyer, such as an investor group or a large beverage company. Sycamore could sell its assets like its recipe and equipment, then the purchaser could rebrand. Because I think you're still tainted. I mean, unfortunately, what happened to the wife and the kid and her child, their child, is totally a bad thing. But it's kind of like people just aren't buying into, like, okay, you're going to be the ex-wife. You say you filed divorce papers and took them off the stuff. But it's almost like there's always a thing where people are like, well, how much did you know before? Did you not see the signs? Did you not say anything? Because they go back to some of the pre-labeling they've done on some of the beers. And they had some questionable labels they put out there as well with the the reindeer and some stuff they did with snowflakes, where it was basically strap-on dildos were making up the snowflakes. It's like who does that? Well, Sycamore does that, I guess. So it's kind of a weird type thing that took place down there. I don't know. It's one of those things, like, one of those stories where it's like, we should have known. Like one of those things where people have flashbacks, they start putting the pieces together like they're Columbo, right? The old Peter Falk, like.
Yeah.
It's like, now I understand.
I don't know. Yeah, but like Club West just seems like that was just rushed. Like, let me go on Canva and try to come up with the new branding name and everything else. Like, obviously, you want to do something in a hurry, but that just seems like way too rushed.
Yeah, it's like they went to the PR firm. The PR like, okay, we're going to spitball 10 ideas. Here's the best one. Came up with best far. Okay, let's run with that one. Like you didn't think it too far. They closed for a few days and then they come back with this. So they only closed like on the 5th and we're on the 10th. Yeah, that's too short of a time to come up with a decision, I think. But like they're talking here, some of the points of where they're talking about a rebrand may also be ineffective, and the stores that yanked Sycamore out, 85% in the week starting December 15th. That's how much sales they lost compared to where they were. I mean, they're getting hit pretty hard down there, but it's kind of crazy on how they're going about trying to do this. I mean, the PR firm, whoever's trying to help them out, got their job cut out for them. They posted a thing for a PR thing, and they took it down. I don't know if they hired somebody real quick or if it was like they were getting bad feed off of it or something, but they're just in an uphill battle trying to figure this whole thing out. It's just interesting, but it's kind of crazy. This dude, like, he really, I hate to say he screwed them over, but he screwed a lot of people over in that regard. So, yeah. So, interesting. You go from the top brewery in Charlotte to running it in the ground. Yeah. And when
guess they could have renamed it. They could have renamed it Epstein Island. That sounds more like Club West.
Epstein Hideaway or something, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Crazy. Ryan says, we live in a council culture that even breweries aren't immune to. See, I never really liked the council culture type thing. I feel like it's more of a consequence culture where people are just holding people accountable to stuff. But, you break in and you allegedly rape a 13-year-old girl. Yeah, people are not going to be happy with you. They're going to come at you. So for sure. And Ryan, I said before there, I think this is when we were talking about Voodoo location in Westchester last very long based on this last visit there. Yeah, Voodoo was interesting when I went to the one in Cincinnati. Beers were okay, but it was like, and we're talking about this another piece upcoming about breweries. The welcome appeal kind of wasn't there as much.
Yeah. I'm going to grab another one real quick. Okay. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So going to the Voodoo that I went to in downtown Cincinnati, it was just like the vibe was just off. It was kind of like they're running a business in hospitality, but they don't know really how to do a hospitality business. So interesting to see. I didn't know there was actually one up there. So, or over there in Westchester. I'll have to maybe take a look and try to go through there. One of the ones I did like, they had that, I think it was a lacto cooler, which is a pretty good sour. At least the one downtown did.
Okay.
That one was really nice. So what did you pick up there?
I picked up a company we both know and love from Go Brewing. This is their Sunbeam Pills. They use German malt and hops in this, non-alcoholic. Both Rod J and I are ambassadors for Go Brewing, so definitely recommend them. I think I've said it before. I think pound for pound, they're the best NA brewery that's out there. So I do like all their stuff. I've had this Pills before, and I think it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get much out of the aroma. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I just had like a tropical hazy one from Sam Adams, so my palate could be a little off right now, but it's decent.
Yeah, I've had the Sunbeam. I actually thought that one was a decent one to sit back and enjoy as well. I found no issue really with it. It's it's one of those things too. What I'm finding on some of the NA beers is something like that something like maybe a stout, I think stand out a little bit more, or the sour, like that Go does their sour.
Yeah.
Than some of the IPA. I feel like the IPA I pick up a little bit more of that seltzery feel than I do on some of the other styles. So I think that one, though, as a nice, clean, fresh, crisp pills, I think it can definitely be a nice substitute.
Yeah, my refrigerator might be a little too cold as well. So let me let.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
I don't know if you guys heard Dave there. I think Dave went Charlie Brown teacher mode on that one.
Yeah. You know what? Let me. I'm going to turn off the bear game here. It could be my signal because, like I said, I got a million things up here. 7-3 Packers. Whoever's watching, keep me updated.
We got Ryan out there watching, him and Matt.
All right.
And then rolling into the next thing here as well. And this is a trend I actually started seeing a few weeks ago because overseas in the UK, they've been doing this. I don't know if you heard about the Guinness 60-40 that they're doing overseas. Is 60%, I believe, of the draft and then 40% of the NA. To bring down the ABV, but they're talking about mid-strength beer emerging as craft beer's most compelling next act. So kind of interesting. Really, when you talk about the mid-strength beer, though, which you're looking at a 2.5 to 3.5% ABV, it's not really new. It's really a throwback to the old table beer. The old table beer used to be like this. You know, you come home from work for your lunch break or whatever like that, you grab something real simple that won't get you sloshed, that you want to enjoy while you eat, and then you go back out, you know, something to lower ABV or just a little break from whatever you're doing. So it could be, it could just be really the reemergence of table beer, which I did have a table beer early towards the end of last year, but I wonder if we'll start seeing more of those marketed out there now as a style that returns to the shelves. But, you know, if you're looking at the younger pushing NA or the younger ABV, I can definitely see where it would work.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this pop up on quite a few. I'm sure we both read the same channels as far as getting our beer news and stuff. And this has popped up a lot. But I mean, I'm just being frank. When was the last time I have not seen a mid-strength beer out there? I mean, we get some English milds that pop up from time to time, but I have not seen a low 3% pale ale or anything like that. And maybe they're out there and I just haven't seen them, and that could possibly be the case. But I think this is getting a lot of hype where you still look at the numbers and more people are buying these stovepipe cans of the Voodoo Ranger. Revolution has like an Imperial Hero out there. Goose Island with their Bear Hugs. These are all 9 to 11% beers. I still see that as, you know, those are going off the shelf. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, it's a good point there. I mean, last night I had one of the stovepipe that I shared a picture on or a video on TikTok and Instagram on for the Rheingeist Truth Bomb. And that was like, I think 9.5 or whatever. But I will say the table beer that I had more recently was sent to me by Shane of Shane's Craft Beer Reviews from Canada, which makes sense because they get a lot of stuff in from the UK, right? So I've not seen it on American shelves like you're saying. Could be something we start seeing in Merzo, maybe. I don't know. I mean, if people are trending this way now, it's mostly been, I think, more overseas, like they talk about here in the UK and over in Australia, but it may trend this way. It might trend this direction for people looking for that break there. Kind of interesting. But again, it's kind of like, it's not new. It's just basically being revisited. Like everything that people think is new or is usually old. It's just rehashed, right? So I think that's what we're kind of seeing here. But I will say like the table beer. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like the English mild style, I love. That's like a wonderful style, like 3%, a lot of malt flavor. You get your darker malts, your chocolate malts, and yeah, you could have a couple of those and you're still good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's still time will tell. Time will tell when this actually goes, but I think there's still an opportunity out there. I mean, some of the breweries, we're seeing more and more add NA, but maybe some will start adding just a little bit lower. One of the cool things at Fermentorium we went to, because they did have a good amount of beers that were like the double-digit ABV, is they actually had the half pours, which I know in Illinois and Chicago, you guys have half pours at some of the spots too. So I hadn't seen many of the brewers in Cincinnati offer that option. Usually it's the pint or it's a taster, right? So, but having a half pour was a great option because it was like, I want to try this beer here, but I've already had some Imperial stuff, 10.5 whatever it may be. I can get like a half of that. I'm not going to get myself hammered on the whole thing, right? So, interesting. Just making these different trends. But you know what? If you're a brewery, you got to find a way to innovate and meet people where they're at. And for some of these breweries, at least overseas, that's where they're meeting them at right now. But we'll see if it follows over here in the States as well. Let's see here. So I always love the beginning of the year because people at the beginning of the year like to predict. It's always fun to see people predict stuff, right? Like heading into the new year, the different things to kind of keep an eye out on or what they're seeing as a possible trend. So I ended up pulling this one piece that was from 750 Daily, 6 beer industry trends to watch in 2026. As they kind of broke down some things, and they're actually pretty decent. I mean, and it's some stuff we've touched on in the past, value being essential for cash conscious customers. We talked about the price situation that some of these breweries are running into. On my channel, I know in the community stuff, I ran different things around pricing to see where people were kind of at on some of the polls and stuff like that. And the dollar is mattering. You mentioned earlier about the $3 upcharge to poke the beer with a hot stick, right? So if you're going to do it, it better be a great value attached because nobody's going to buy into it at this point if it doesn't bring something there. So you better know what you're actually doing it there. Talking about here in October, Red Hook introduced the No Frills 81 Light Lager that's brewed with 1 hop and 1 malt, selling for $6 to $7 per 4-pack of 16-ounce cans.
All right.
That's going to catch some attention, right? If you want that light lager, you're getting 4 pint cans. That's not a bad price, $6 to $7, right? So, in fact, the next beer I'm going to have here is actually one that I picked up at Aldi, and it was a 6-pack for $7.99, and I'll share that here in a second as well. So it's like, people are looking at some of the values out there. So you have to definitely be aware of that, and we keep hearing now, if you're watching the news, affordability. So people are definitely more price conscious heading into this year as they're making decisions. I've shot pictures. I've found eggs in the beer section before. Like someone made a decision here, like screw these eggs. I'm getting some beer. It's protein. This protein versus that protein, right? So another prediction they had on there: shelf space will shrink. Go ahead. I thought you were going to go ahead, Dad. I think you're going to say something there. Shelf space will shrink, spur more targeted beer releases, right? So shelf space is at a premium right now. We've got the beer, we've got the RTDs, we got the other drinks and stuff that are out there. Ciders are growing more for a lot of the people, especially if they're like gluten-free type options. Ciders are something that's very popular in that group. So, it's going to be something there where we may see more of that stuff actually coming in. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything come back like the old Bartles and James, like wine spritzer type stuff, right? That we used to have back in the 90s, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's coming. They'll bring that. Me and you will be the new Bartles and James.
I figure with some of the younger generation now, they never seen them before, but if they're looking to go stuff like that with more of the fruity type feel, but maybe not as heavy as a beer. Those things ran for a while in the late 80s and 90s. Yeah.
Bartles and James. What else? Seagram's Golden.
Yeah. You might get your wishes. Zima might come back at some point.
It better. If that came back tomorrow, I'd quit dry January right now.
I mean, it's still getting made. It's just in Japan. So you never know. Mass Hole Light Lager. That was a funny name I saw on this piece here too, which people in Massachusetts are referred to as Mass Holes up there in the Northeast, if you didn't know. He'll talk about hemp-derived THC beverages, economic lifeline that might be cut loose. So this is going to be an interesting one. And for those of you watching in 2 weeks or the Tuesday after next Tuesday, I'm actually going to have Julie Rose on from Kick Fizz, kind of talk about the THC market. And because she opened up a THC line last year, some of the things they're running into because we know about the new legislation that came out and the effect that might take place, because they have to have the way it is right now. I think it's November or October this year, maybe, or
I think November, like late November, early December. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was right after the shutdown ended.
Yeah. Right here, November 2026. So unless they come up with a plan there, this could really affect a lot of the THC producers and really affect the economy, because it's been a great line for another opportunity for people doing just THC, or some of the breweries that are doing THC type stuff. So it's something to keep an eye on there. So we'll have that discussion there. But I know my one local spot, they actually were doing well with the sales as far as a distributor or seller to the general public. That announcement came out. They pretty much got wiped out and everything. Everybody's kind of stockpiled here in Cincinnati from their store. So, it'll be interesting to watch. But they're saying THC being on the line there. Breweries will place a renewed focus on beer and packaging options. Yeah. You know, that's one thing you always think about. Like, when you go to a beer store, what makes you choose a certain beer? What makes it stand out for you? And a lot of times it's going to be that look, that first look at the beer, the labeling, the marketing. It's going to be something that's going to grab your eye, right? Yeah. And a lot of these breweries, they're starting to focus back in. They're saying that they're going to refocus on making the stuff stand out, because the shelf space is becoming limited. And if you're on it, you better make sure someone's seeing that actually have an opportunity to go ahead and want to try your beer. Yeah. Well, they use a couple of samples here with the pills from Sierra Nevada and Trogs and their lager, which both look slick as they are there. I mean, it definitely gets your attention. So
that Sierra Nevada pills is absolutely outstanding.
Okay.
That is a phenomenal beer. The can's like 8 ounces or something like that. It's like these real small, thin cans. So, I mean, you could definitely have one and you're good, but that's a fantastic beer right there.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think I've had that one yet. I'll have to take a look at it. But some interesting stuff here. There's some of the comments here. Lone Tree, who we actually know, Lone Tree out of Colorado. Yeah. We both have.
Yeah, we both talked to Jerry before.
As far as should be the bedrock and default mission of craft breweries, as far as the focus there. Hop Valley, I've had the Hop Valley beers, which are actually pretty decent. Talking about the beer industry doesn't need new trends, but it's, you got to be able to stand out. So it's kind of interesting. Harpoon, I haven't had Harpoon in a while, actually, now I think about it.
Yeah.
But they recently refreshed their packaging to emphasize its Boston's IPA, which Sam Adams might have something to say about that with some of their IPAs. I don't know. That's not shooting shots or anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but Harpoon was putting out that long before, like, Rebel IPA that Sam Adams came out with. Yeah. I think Harpoon's got a leg to stand on.
Yeah. So, and then you got Trogs there as well. Trogs is always solid anytime you get your hands on their stuff, I think. Garage Beer plans to release this light lager, nostalgic stubby glass bottles. So they're going old school there with the who's that? That's the Kelsey brothers, right? Yeah. Kelsey brothers on that one there. Although I've had the original Garage Beer when it was under Braxton, just saying, before we got all big time.
Braxton,
yeah. When it was coming up, I was already drinking Garage Beer before a lot of people were. So so kind of interesting there. Then we also get down here, Gen Z will become a focal point for craft breweries. Well, that would make sense. That's kind of one of those obvious type things, right? Like, you got to focus on the ones that are now able to drink, because all your old timers are getting older and people are moving up in age, but you got to bring along that next generation. The thing I liked about this is what they identify is the opportunity to teach Gen Z about some of the different options they actually have. Like, why are more breweries doing things like, well, I know some do the tours and all that kind of stuff, but to do the education type thing, have some clinics there. I say clinic, but, have a workshop or whatever it may be. People buy a ticket. They get to try 4 or 5 different beers. They get to kind of learn about brewing or learn about different styles. And, there's ways to actually bring Gen Z along. So it's that opportunity of presenting that stuff in front of them. And I think some people may be missing that, just thinking, well, Gen Z's not drinking. No, they're drinking, because I know some Gen Z's and they're drinking. They're definitely drinking. It's just a matter of, but it's funny because the Gen Zs, for instance, and I use like my day job, when we have like a get together or we're like one of the bars or whatever, a lot of them will ask me things what they should try. So I know the opportunity is there, and I'll point them in different directions, and they try different things. So breweries have taken it upon themselves to be able to educate and be able to guide people when they come in.
Yeah, but they have to be able to get them in the door first. I mean, that's the thing. How we got to get them in the door, and how do breweries do that? I don't know. I mean, maybe your trivia nights and your bingo nights, it's not attracting that. You got to come up with something new to get younger people in.
Well, that's why you hopefully will have like your marketing or your R&D people, whoever that person may be, to kind of track that kind of stuff. Because if it's something like, if I was like running a brewery and I knew like Gen Z was huge into the Harry Potter, right? I'd be running like Harry Potter type nights or Harry Potter trivia type things that would generate that interest among that group, right? So you have to have things to come up to target to get the people in that you want to get in. And then to draw customers to tap rooms, experiences and urgency become central, which we've said before on here. You got to have a reason to get people in there now, or a draw, like you just said as well, because your dollars are now up against the sporting events, against the local play, the local concert. I mean, you're looked at an entertainment venue at some point, and for people to want to come there and spend money at your location, it has to be that experience. And also, you got to make it seem like you need to come here now. You got to give them the FOMO, what we call, which is the fear of missing out for those that don't know. Make them feel like they're missing something by not coming to your brewery. And if you're not able to do that, you're going to be left behind or struggle some. So you got to come up with those things to actually draw them in. But they see, this year from this piece where that's going to have to be a main focal point for a lot of the breweries out there. So that is interesting and all that stuff there. But what is also interesting is the beer I'm about to break out. So this is one I picked up from Aldi. I like to pop into Aldi once in a while just to see what they got, because, sometimes you get a nice little surprise. So this is actually the chocolate lava cake stout. So this comes in at 8% ABV. This was like a 6-pack for I want to say it was like $7.99, I believe, which you always get like a nice little deal at Aldi. Had not seen it before, had not had it before. It's from State of Brewing out of Wisconsin. So we're still rolling with the Midwest beer, right? So
that's got to be Octopi. It's got to be the largest contract brewer in the country. So it's got to be them, because they do a lot of Aldi stuff.
And then it says stout with natural flavors, which nobody has still defined what natural flavors are to me. In all my years in doing beer. So I'm like, is there beer being made with unnatural flavors? I have not found out yet. So
while you're pouring that, let me grab another one here.
Okay. This one pours a little bit of a reddish brown. So I like the look of that there. Take the red hearted down and put this up here. Should have changed the batteries, but I didn't. But for those of you watching here is a look at the beer itself. Nice dark, nice head. Oh, shoot. All right, Aldi. All right. Oh, that smells really good. That does smell like lava cake. I'll give them that point right there. That is right on point. I'm talking about like a chocolate fudgy smell you're getting out of it. It's like if there was like a liquid Hostess cake, this would be this would be it, like right here.
Because I've had some that are almost smell like what was that? Nestle Quick.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about there. Yeah, like it's this one or like Yoo-hoo sometimes. This one definitely smells like lava cake. If you ever had lava cake, it's like the little chocolate cake with the little fudge. It's a great dessert. It's a great dessert. I'm a man of many things. I love desserts too. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not bad. That is not bad at all for a stout. I feel like it's got like a nice milk stout. So it might be the lactose thing. I know about the lactose, but it's got the milk stout. But you're getting a creaminess in there. You're getting a chocolate on the back end. You're getting like that nice darker type chocolate feel. Duration hangs around nicely, just like kind of in the throat area.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I was grabbing this. What was the ABV on that?
8%.
Okay.
And not picking up the alcohol. It is definitely a dessert appeal. Like, sometimes when we would go to restaurants, I would like pair some beers with some desserts and stuff. Like this one, I could easily pair up with like a chocolate raspberry type dessert or a chocolate cake. I mean, this would pair good with that. I used to do that with the Breckenridge and their Avalanche, like pair it up with stuff. But this thing is pretty much money. I mean, you can't beat the price and the deal you get for this. It's just like, okay.
Like some of those like sweet dessert beers are almost like too sweet. Like it's like liquid diabetes. Like how is that? Like, is it balanced?
It's balanced. It does have the sweetness in it. It's one I would use to break up the routine maybe, but it's not like one and be like one and done. I could probably do a couple of these, but then I would want to get back into something else or clear the palate. Mm-hmm. This is more for me like a nightcap type beer. I would want this like at the end maybe, like as a dessert basically.
Okay. Well, I'm doing something totally different. I'm doing something from Five Corners Beverage Company, trying to get it where you could see it on both screens there. This is salted lemonade. Five Corners, a Chicago-based company. I've had the owner on the show once. We talked about it, and they do like you could use it as a mixer, or in my case, I'm going to drink it straight up. This is salted lemonade, which I've had before, and it's got citrus, black salt, and cumin in it. And you wouldn't expect it because like you almost get like that taco vibe with the cumin, but I think it's really good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's well balanced. You get a little heat at the end. You get the cumin. Like some people just don't like cumin. If that's something you don't like, you're going to hate this. So if you're not on the cumin train, don't buy it. But if you are, Five Corners Beverage Company, you got to pick it up.
There you go. I am so Gen X. When you said straight up, all popped in my head was Paul Abdul.
Yeah.
That's how Gen X I am. Yeah. I started playing the straight up song in my head when you said that, but But I am liking this one here.
Right.
It almost has like a little bit of a Hershey's chocolate type appeal to it.
All right.
So it's the Yingling Hershey's. It has that chocolate appeal that's in play here, but it's not thin like the Yingling Hershey's. It's just it's solid. I mean, I'm actually surprised by how this one actually turned out coming out of Aldi. So well worth it. If anybody sees a chocolate lava stout there, I would definitely say, if Dave would say, put it in the cart. So
all right, I might have to walk over there tomorrow and grab it for February.
As I use your tagline there, right? So So speaking of stout, as I drink the stout here, we can talk a little. We can talk a little stout, and let me know what you kind of think on this on your end, and then also those of you watching, because it's kind of interesting. there's definitely some pretty good mentions, I would think, on the list here. But this is actually looking at one that came out from Porch Drinking, and they did a piece on the best stouts of 2025. They looked at Irish, Milk, Imperial, and barrel aged. So they have the list here they put out.
You might have put a different, the link on the sheet that you gave me. Yeah,
that's the one I just pulled off. I pulled off the sheet.
Oh, off the sheet, I've got everything. This is like cheap beer. So let me find it. Let me go to Porch Drinking and find it.
You went to the other article, I think. We got that coming up too. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But the stout beer, they had the quick picks, and this was actually done. I think it might have been a few people at Porch Drinking that put this together. Best overall stout, Guinness Draft. For me, I wouldn't say it was the best overall stout. I'm more partial to the next one, Best Irish Style Upgrade, the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. In fact, once I started having Foreign Extra Stout, I couldn't go back to the Guinness Draft because it was just that much of a difference. But Guinness Draft is Guinness. It's well known. It's the name. It's the whole icon. So you can't hate on Guinness. I don't know if I would have it now as the best overall stout, though, with all the stouts we have out there in the marketplace.
No.
So I feel like that might have been a more traditional type thing. And Ryan said, on the beer I got right now, put it over vanilla ice cream. Oh, you're getting crazy now, Ryan. You're getting crazy now. I've got 5 more cans, though, so it might happen at some point, just saying. Or make it float. Make a float, because there are beer floats as well.
There you go.
Best milk stout, Left Hand Milk Stout Nitro, which is a good beer. I can definitely go along with that for Left Hand. They do some great things there. Best Imperial Stout, North Coast Old Rasputin.
Can't go wrong with that.
I mean, what do you say about Old Rasputin, right? I mean, that's
just it's a gold standard.
It's a gold standard, right? And,
yep.
And if you get some of the variants they do of it, grab them. Don't even wait. I'm just saying. Best barrel aged splurge. Now this is interesting, right? Because you would think in this category you'd also have the Goose Island ones, but a company that both of us are used to, or a brewery both of us are used to, doing some stuff with them recently, Firestone Walker Parabola. I can't hate on it. I can't hate on it. Yeah. In fact, I got some old Parabolas I'm going to be pulling from the cellar to do some reviews on upcoming, but very solid. This says here, disciplined barrel character, layered chocolate and dry fruit, built for small pours. Yeah, you want to take your time with that and just enjoy it. So
yeah, that's a good sipping beer.
Before I go into the list, anything you see here, anything you would change, or anybody in the comments that you think may not fit to what you would choose?
I mean, if you're looking at barrel aged stuff, I mean, I'm not going to argue with Firestone Walker. Bourbon County, just on the name alone, but I think Revolution, like their, Deepwood series, I would put above Goose Island. Even Old Irving, I would put. They don't have a wide selection like Goose Island and Revolution. I'm not even drinking, and I can't even think now. Drinking non-alcoholic, and I'm still losing my mind here. But
that's because you're looking at all these beers. And you're like, I gotta wait till February to drink these.
Yeah. Although I am looking at the ad for the triple Carmelite, I do have that glass. That is one of my favorite beer glasses there.
That's a sweet glass right there.
I mean, they're all good. Like some of like the Prairie Artisan Ale, like that stuff that bomb is fantastic.
Yeah,
I haven't had any of the Goose yet this year. I'm waiting for my sale.
Okay, all right.
And I'm waiting for Jewel to mark it down.
Yeah. Everybody doesn't get a 50% off deal like you do, Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, best overall stout. That's the only thing I would probably say, and I like Guinness, but it wouldn't be the best overall probably for me in that regard.
No.
But you look at the comparison table, they also have it here like Guinness Draft and Murphy's Irish. I know some people that prefer Murphy's to Guinness, especially over like in the UK, which is always a fun thing. If you ever get a chance, for those of you also to watch the channels like Ryan and Matt, do a comparison, do a video comparing Murphy's versus Guinness and see what you come out with. But some people swear they like Guinness more. The extra stout is like, Again, foreign extra, I like extra's a little bit more of a body with it, but yeah, the foreign extra is where I'm at right here with the 7.5 and the balance. O'Hara's Irish Stout. I have not had O'Hara's in a number of times. Brewdog Blackheart, which I've had that one. That's actually a decent stout as well. Although Brewdog, a lot of people don't drink Brewdog as much now because of all the stuff they've done, right? So, Head House Oyster Stout. Don't see a lot of the oyster ones as much.
No.
Flying Dog had an oyster one. Yeah, their pearl necklace, which kind of turns some people, but you know, it is what it is. Samuel Smith Oatmeal Stout. I do like that one. I think that's a solid one to actually enjoy. Odell, you don't hear people talk about Odell as much now, but Odell does some pretty decent beers.
Yeah.
And their Lejeune Chocolate Milk Stout. Not familiar with Mackinson. Young's Double Chocolate's a great dessert beer to also enjoy.
Like one they didn't list, and it just came out last year, and it's something we're going to talk about on a later segment here, was the stuff from Great Lakes, because they started coming out with, they had that Conway's Irish Ale, which is like one of my favorite St. Patrick's Day beers, but they came out with a stout, I believe, last year, maybe the year before, and I thought that was solid. And if I remember right, that wasn't very like heavy. It wasn't like an imperial. It was like a reasonable, maybe 5 or 6%.
Yeah, it was like a reasonable dry Irish stout that wasn't heavy. And actually, when I did the video on that one, I did a blend of both of them together to kind of
like a
see
black
how
and
it
tan.
went. Yeah. And that was pretty tasty, putting them both together as well. Sierra Nevada and the Narwhal. People know about the Narwhal is such a good one. In fact, for me, I probably would have Narwhal ahead of Guinness for overall as well. But that might be the American side of it. It's just as, you know, it just hits for me a little bit more. But I like bigger beers. Bell's Expedition is another one. That's another one that's a great one to actually enjoy. Stone Imperial Stout. Most people just think of Stone IPA, but their Imperial Stout is one. Great Divide, although Great Divide, I guess, is divided now where you can't get it, but their Yeti Imperial Stout, which I do have some Yetis to do a review on actually still. Oscar Blues 1050, you can't go wrong with Oscar Blues in their 1050. And then they got the barrel age on top of it as well. And you got the Bourbon County down here, also the Prairie Bomb, as you mentioned, and then New Orleans Dragon Milk. That might be the best overall stout to me, just the base version of that. And all the variants they run off of it as well. So interesting list. You know, it's always interesting just to see what people are thinking out there. But all of these are great beers that are worthy of getting attention for sure, for the ones that I've messed around with. So yeah. It's like the end of the year, you always get lists. Beginning of the year, you get lists. And, you know, it's just always fun to see what people are thinking out there. Ryan says, hard to argue against any nitro beers that left hand. I agree. I need to get Gary on this year to see what they're actually doing out there as well. But the left hand, I mean, they really did. I was in a can the nitro. They pretty much did. They were the ones that made the nitro in the can here in the States. So yeah, and the bottle afterwards. Terrific barrel aged stouts for Third Eye that I'll put up against the best big national brands. Everybody seems to love Third Eye. And I will say, Ryan, I did finally pick up some of their beers at Kroger when I did the mixer 6-pack. So I got like 3 of them coming together that I'll be doing reviews on. But their Walnut Brown Ale is one that I got, which I'm a huge brown ale fan. So whenever I see somebody put that out, I pretty much always want to give that a try. I feel like we could use more brown ales in our life.
Yeah.
And black IPAs.
Yes.
And speaking of Cincinnati, and Ryan, you'll see this here as well. We actually just had a situation here, and this is kind of interesting. So pull it up on screen. One of the this is like the local Fox News affiliates. They ended up purchasing, which was now the old Braxton that they had downtown Cincinnati, which used to be the old, I think it was 3 Points Brewery back in the day before Braxton bought it. and our what we call OTR here in Cincinnati, to put another brewery in. So former U.S. Army intelligence special officers giving new life to this brewery. I want to see them succeed, but I'm starting to think it's just an issue with that spot. I just feel like when you're looking to open in breweries, you have to look at locations, right? So for you, like Dave, like talking about Cincinnati, where this is at is like just off of downtown Cincinnati. But ever since COVID, everything shifted. So downtown used to have a lot of office workers. You had a lot of restaurants. You know, Nick Lachey had his restaurant down there. Mark Wahlberg had Wahlburgers down there. There were other things that were happening. After COVID, people started going remote. Companies couldn't fill spaces. They started leasing out their office. It's just like, I feel like it's not like it's old Detroit, but it's definitely some struggles they have down there. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And that's one of the things I think sometimes breweries may not always target. You would think they would because they're putting so much money into this, but is it the best location sometimes? So it'll be interesting to see. And I remember some of the breweries, like we had one that was called Blank Slate that did some really good beers in Cincinnati, but they were out in the warehouse district. And for you in Chicago, as good as Lagunitas is, they were like in the warehouse district, but people weren't going out to it, right? So it's kind of like, I don't get some of the locations that some of these breweries choose sometimes.
I mean, it was just such a huge facility, and they used that for like movie shoots and like TV shoots, like, so it was that big of a location. And I think, they couldn't pass that up. And it was, when it opened, that place was hopping, and people would drive down there. But 2020 hit, and even before 2020, it's like, it's a long way to go. If you're not going down to that area anyway, to like a Bulls game or a Blackhawks game or something in that area, there's just more places that are close by. When they opened, we had probably half the breweries that we have now in the country. So you have more and you have them closer. So do I need to drive 45 minutes away and fight traffic for a national brewery when I could go to Hot Butcher, I can go to Dovetail and walk there?
Right. And I think that's what some of the situations at some of the places that put these up, what they're looking at is you're putting stuff in certain areas which seem like, oh, here's a great space. But are you going to be able to draw the people into that space that want to come and spend that time to get to that location and stuff? So they have some of the businesses around them in OTR that have done okay, but I just think it's almost like a shot in the dark to see if people will show up down there and stuff. So, and then here in Cincinnati, I mean, every city has their issues, but they've been like kind of talking about more of the stuff. I feel like the media causes more of the fear for the people at home than needs to be. So it's kind of like some people are afraid to go out because they're afraid they might get robbed or something like that and everything. And it's kind of like every city kind of goes through that type of thing, right? Now, as we used to be kids or whatever, our grandmother would tell us, like, nothing good happens after midnight. So as long as your ass is home before midnight, you should be fine. But you would still see it that way.
And it doesn't matter what city you're in. There's parts you don't go to. And we all know that. So...
So that'll be interesting to see what they actually pull out there here in Cincinnati. But if you come to visit Cincinnati, that'll be a new spot you might want to check out at the point. And then here, talking about traveling, as people start to set up their traveling and to go places, because when I travel, I like to see what breweries are around, so I know. Like if the wife says, "Let's go to so and so," I got to pull it up and see what breweries are going to be in that location we're looking at, right? So with this one here, let me go back because it switched on me on the story. There we go. 10 best beer cities every craft beer lover must visit, which most of these are pretty much known, I think. But we have Port. Oh my God, it's trying to kick me out of the thing here, I think.
I've got it here in front of me.
Like, you didn't look at this quick enough. There you go.
So you got,
we got Portland.
All right, you got it.
Yeah.
Denver, Colorado. I've got it here. I got an ad blocker, so I'm not getting all that. So Denver, Colorado, Portland, I think, is the only one out of these that I have not been to, but Denver's excellent. San Diego, you can't go wrong, especially if you like West Coast IPAs. Asheville, North Carolina is phenomenal. I mean, it's just a great town. Hopefully they're rebounding. I mean, I know they were still struggling with like the hurricane, what was it, Helene from a couple years ago?
Yes.
But Asheville's a great area. This little town you might have heard of called Chicago that is fantastic. Grand Rapids has a lot of Grand Rapids is good, but they have that one big brewery that we don't drink. So you can, if you want to go to Grand Rapids, there's other places you can go to. Milwaukee,
which happens to be
Milwaukee's got a lot of great spots.
Yeah. Happens to start with F too, but yeah.
The Milwaukee area is fantastic. Yeah. San Francisco, Burlington, Vermont, and Austin, Texas. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those spots.
No, it was a good list. I mean, I couldn't really argue in any way. I mean, 3 of them out of the Midwest here, obviously, with the Milwaukee, Chicago that you mentioned in there, and
Grand Rapids.
And it's just like, again, it's almost like, it's good to see representation, because it's not just, Seattle wasn't in there, and it wasn't like, New York or Philly, or like, it's just the Midwest, again, the kind of that flyover type area sometimes, but good to see this representation, and you make up like 33% of the list, which is nice. Yeah. And I've actually been to Burlington, Vermont, but I was in high school at the time. I went up with the ski club, so I didn't get a chance to drink at the time when I was in high school. But anytime I see a beer from Burlington, Vermont, it's almost like I got to pick it up, because they're just noted for making such great beer out of there. Which, if you ever get the Burlington Brewing Company, which is also kind of funny because people just call them BBC, and I'm like, okay. But they always do some great, fantastic beers. So check them out if you can. But yeah, it's just, like I said, it was like any cities that you're thinking of that you could even put close to, like, on the list that maybe you've seen or have beers from, like anything. Like San Diego
Portland,
wasn't on the
Maine.
list.
Yeah, San Diego was on the list. Yeah.
Oh, they were.
Portland, Maine. Okay. Yeah, Portland, Maine, I thought was a great beer city. That was like the only one that I thought, like, where's Portland? But I don't know which of those other cities I would kick off to put Portland, Maine in. Maybe Grand Rapids, but Portland, Maine. And you know what? Every city, every larger city has a great craft beer scene now. It's not like it used to be. You don't have to travel far to get a good beer. Yeah.
So Seattle wasn't on the list, though. So I haven't been to Seattle, but it was kind of interesting just thinking being out there in the Northwest. But San Francisco wasn't
Seattle's,
on the list.
that's more of like an old school beer town. Like, Red Hook was really big. Like, I remember going there 30 years ago, and that was a great beer scene. How it is now, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Probably just more expensive now. So
yeah.
But well, with Dave actually here doing Dry January, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to take a look at the history of Dry January. And get it pulled up here. So this was kind of interesting because I didn't really know as much of the history. I know it was more recent, but this is off of AmericanCraftBeer.com. Yeah, but Dry January just goes back to really 2013, where it started out in the UK. Nonprofit Alcohol Change UK launched a campaign as a public health initiative, and it kind of built up from there. It was just basically take 31 days off from drinking and see how you feel. And then it kind of went from there and kind of grew out. And I don't think they expected it to grow to the phenomenon it grew to, but it's just one of those things that people caught on with and kind of ran with there. And a lot of people find a benefit in it. I know you've done it before, and you talk about you can drop the weight and do some different things. For me, I've never done the full Dry January just because I usually moderate during other parts of the year, but you can definitely understand giving the body a break there as well.
Yeah, and, and I didn't have to. I did it 2 years ago. I didn't do it last year. Doing it this year. Well, I wanted to drop some weight, and that's part of it. So, we're on January 10th and I'm down 4.4 pounds already. So that part is good. Like they say, you get better sleep. It's just me. My sleep sucks. I slept better when I drank. So
Yeah.
I don't know. My sleep in the last week has been shot. So we'll see what it's like. I'm off on vacation all this week. So hopefully I can catch up on my sleep. But yeah, part of it was just like, and my wife was like, well, if you're going to do that, she's giving up desserts this month. So we're both doing something. So, I mean, it's just a period you give your body a break, whether if you're Catholic, if you're giving up something for Lent, like some people will give up, beer, alcohol, or whatever for Lent. Just, give your body a little rest, extra money in your pocket. Although some of these NA beers, they're more expensive than regular. I went out today because I wanted to grab some stuff for here and stuff to do videos. And there was one, and I forget the brewery because I just put it back down. It was a 6-pack of this NA beer, $17.99. I'm like, for $17.99, I want to get buzzed. I am not spending $18 on NA beer unless it was phenomenal. So that's something like you would need to put in a build your own 6-pack, because I would need to try that before I commit to $18.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't spend $18 on a 6-pack of alcoholic beer unless I knew I really liked it.
Yeah, that's a heck of an ass to have for sure.
Yeah. But even like some of them, like the prices are through the roof. Like there's some NA spirits out there that they're more expensive than regular spirits. Like there was this NA gin that I tried a year ago and I thought was really good. Like it was a nice change of pace. It's more expensive than regular gin. Like I'll just drink LaCroix water at that point.
Yeah. Dry January is against my religion. I feel like because since he brewed as that, I must be Matt on that one there because Matt works with Ryan's. So yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like, I opted.
I'm still gonna, like this week I'm off. I'm gonna go to a brewery and have dinner. It's not like I'm, not supporting breweries, because January is normally a shitty month for, most craft breweries. Like people have an excess of beer anyway from the holidays. Maybe they're paying their credit card bills from, the holiday season, whatever. So if you're doing dry January, still go out and support, your local brewery. So I'm going to go out this week and, grab a nice meal.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of grab, I'm going to grab another beer in a second, but I'm going to actually run to the bathroom real quick. Do you got to go or anything like that? Or we'll put a thing on. Are you good?
I'm good. I'll wait till you get back. So let me, I'll talk about one of these other ones here. Let's see what we got here.
What we got
I'll talk about lagers expected to dominate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can.
While you go, I'll talk about this, because this is something. This has popped up for like the last 5 years. It's the year of the lager. It's the year of the lager. And we keep hearing this. And now, according to American Craft Beer, heading into 2026, all signs point to lagers taking over tap lines. I don't know. I mean, and there's a lot of great lagers out there besides your macro lager. A lot of craft breweries are coming out with like their version of a macro, like Revolution here has their Cold Time, and a lot of other breweries are putting out really solid craft lagers. Like we mentioned, the Sierra Nevada Pils. I think it started with like your garage beer and your Montucky cold snacks, that you're getting like a craft, macro lager, if you will. So according to this from American Craft Beer, 2026 is going to be the year of the lager. That's another thing. I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, we all just grab the big beers, whether it's your big IPAs, your big hazies, your barrel-aged stouts. I don't know if we're going to be the year of the lager, but let's hope so. Vienna lagers are great, like an Italian Pils. I love a good lager style, a Helles. So we'll see, but I'm apprehensive about 2026 being the year of the lager when it allegedly was going to be in 2023, 2024, last year. We'll see. I'm still finishing this salted lemonade, which it's the year of the salted lemonade, which is really good. Once again, I think if you're not in Chicago, go to Five Corners Beverage Company, and that's good. That's some good stuff right there. But I don't know. I just don't see. Oh, the cumin. Oh, that got me right there. I just don't see. Like this article said, it's going to dominate. I don't see it dominating. I see it still being a complementary part of the craft beer scene where you're still going to have your hazies, you're going to have your big beers. The same thing what we talked about earlier with like these mid-range beers.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a segment. I don't think it's going to dominate or take over like the pundits are predicting here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it definitely plays out. I feel like it's going to find its space in it. I just think more from, which it makes mention of some of the younger drinkers who are more that crisp, clean type feel. Yeah, but they may not want anything heavy or whatever. I mean, you can definitely get fatigue from the IPAs in my book. Yeah. So having like a good lager, crisp and clean, can be something of an opportunity there, but I don't know if it'll dominate. I mean, yeah.
It'll have it's still going to be a small portion, a niche, if you will.
Yeah.
So
well, I think the thing is too, I think
while you're back, I'm going to be back in a second.
Okay. All right. Well, I would say from my perspective on the lager, I think the lagers, you got to remember, there's only really two styles of beer, right? You have an ale, you have a lager. You could have the hybrid there where you have like a couple of different things, but for the most part, those are your two styles. And with lagers, you do have the different versions now. You have things like when you get around October and stuff, you have the Oktoberfest and you have the Merzens that come out. You have the Rouse beers that are lagers. You have some different things that do play under lagers. So maybe they're just kind of making a generalization on the size of lagers, but I don't think a lot of the pale lagers, stuff like that, or some of the European type lagers are going to definitely be the domination type situation. But I think they will have they have a good play out there. You're seeing more breweries getting into making lagers than what has been in the past. So I think there is going to be that potential for the market, but I just think more or less you're going to maybe see a die down slightly in what people would get like from the IPA perspective, which I'm all for. I'm like, let's dial back some of the IPAs. Let's put some other stuff out there that people can actually try. We talked earlier about some of the lower ABV, basically table beer styles. You have opportunities for like things like Box. Ryan and Matt, we got Box Fest upcoming, right? That's a lager. So you have those opportunities for beers. You might also with some of the ales, you have like some of the brown ales. I'm always down for brown ales. I mentioned earlier on the live stream. There's other styles out there besides just the IPA. It doesn't have to be a lager. So it can be other stuff that might be happening. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But again, people have their thoughts, and we like to kind of discuss the thoughts that some of the people may have on some of the different things taking place. Take a look here. Hellas lagers are new low. Yeah, Hellas lagers they're good. They're good. I got no problem with Hellas lagers, and I do enjoy some of those as well. And then we also have lagers who seem to be a big trend. Yeah, I mean, they're making their move. It's an opportunity. Again, the pendulum's going to swing between them, but you really only have the two styles, right? So people get fatigued on ales. They start getting a little bit more of the lagers out there. And in a way,
21-3.
The Bears are down 21-3.
Bears?
Yeah, so you have the different opportunities that are out there for the lager side, but it's a pendulum. It's going to swing. People want different things, and when you have some of the younger type drinkers, they're not going to come in ready to dial. Think about the first time you had a barley wine. If you were a young drinker or a younger drinker, that barley wine would have probably turned you off, thinking all beers were kind of that way, right? So
yeah.
lagers are a good way to get into the whole beer type thing. So I can understand why more breweries want to get those in, because they got to find ways to fill the seats now. Seems like the things I talk about craft beer is going away, and people want the traditional stuff. I can't see that happening. Oh, people were kind of just, they're seeing traditional stuff, so they're thinking about traditional stuff probably. So are you doing Morse code there or something?
No, I'm trying to look to see like who makes this, what I'm having here. I just tried, it's called Mountain Tonic. It's a blood orange and bitters. But I'm trying to look at like who makes this. It's a place called Shacksbury. I was just trying to see like where they were from, and it doesn't list it, but it's pretty tasty.
And then Ryan said, "Go back."
Shut your ass up.
I literally say, "Don't poke the bear," but you're poking the bear because he's a Bears fan.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What time's the Bengal game on tomorrow?
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Wait, I might have something. Yeah. I might have something for that actually.
Yeah.
Matt said that, not me. Ryan said that.
All right. You're off the hook, Ryan.
Ryan's on the system. He said low blow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Swing low. Yeah. Let's see here. This is kind of an interesting one here we get into. And I think you probably have a little bit of a rant there for yourself, I think, on this too. I know I probably will, but red flags. Oh, let's see. Red flags on breweries that should send you running. An interesting piece from Tasting Table on here. So you ever walk into a brewery sometimes and you're kind of like, I'm not sure about this. Well, they kind of highlight some of those things basically on here as well. If the staff isn't attentive and educated, I mean, you got one job to do: serve beer and know about two jobs, know about the beer. But I put that more on management than I put that on the staff, because management has to make sure their people are up to speed and they're getting the right information. But we talked about Voodoo Brewing earlier. That's kind of like the feel when you walked into Voodoo. When I went to it in downtown Cincinnati, it was kind of like you had to almost search for people to come get your beer order. And they really didn't know much about the beer, which is probably why they're closed now. But if you're going to have a staff, you have to make sure they're educated. They know things about it. It's like if you're going into a brewery, I've been in there numerous times where you'll have someone and you'll ask them a question about the beer, and they're like, well, I don't know. Or they say, I don't really drink beer, so I can't even tell you. Which you don't have to drink beer to be a server, but you should know the details about it. Yeah. It's kind of like, do you want me to be here to spend business or not? So thoughts you have on that first one?
Definitely educated. If the place is busy and it's hopping, it's like any place. You're not going to have the server right there with you spending your whole time, but they do need to acknowledge that you're there. But definitely, and like, I'll bring up another thing. Like sometimes I don't want to say too educated, but sometimes the staff thinks that they know everything about beer. And I'd sit there and like, son, don't tell me about this. I know more about this than you do. So be general with your knowledge. Don't assume that you know more. And I've seen like women comment like, because they walk in and think that, the server thinks that just because they're a woman that they don't know anything about beer. They want to try to hand them something light and fruity, and the woman knows more about beer than they do. So, I think you need to be knowledgeable, but don't pretend that you know everything.
Right. And we both know women in the industry that express that when we talk to them and stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of that thing there as far as attentive and educated and it's kind of like we went to a brewery. We were at the hotel. It wasn't a brewery I went to. It was a hotel bar, and went down to the hotel bar, and I got a draft beer. And on the brochure, it said like, I think it said like an IPA or whatever. And I got a stout. Like, this is the right one. It's like, yeah, that's what it is. And like, she started showing me like, I'm like, this is not. I literally had to pull up Untapped to show her a picture of what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that's what my manager said. I said, your manager's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, go get your manager here, because I'll tell him he's wrong, right? And I went to one time, we have a steak place here called Prime 47. And one time I went to order, and it was supposed to be like this Imperial Stout, whatever they had. And he brought it out, and I'm like, this is like an old ale. This is like not even the right thing. And it was kind of like, well, that's what's like. The staff wasn't educated on what it actually should be. Yeah. And which is really why I appreciate when you go to places and they are educated on it. Like, we have a place here that's a restaurant, and it's called Kung Fu Amber Asia. It's a Chinese restaurant. They have 150 beers that they can serve you. They literally keep a person on each shift that can walk you through the beers. They can tell you anything about the beers for the most part. Like, they have educated people that are trained on certain beers and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, take time to make sure you're crafting out your service people to know what they're actually talking about. I mean, it makes a better experience. And then it's something where I might want to come back again, right? It's like, if you're having a great experience, you'll want to come back. If you have a terrible experience, you don't come back, but you tell everybody else about the terrible experience you actually had. So they don't even want to go now, right? Bad news always travels more than good news. Yeah. So, you got to be able to make sure you deliver. Ryan said, red flags, lack of proper glassware, menu, tap board, on tap list, different beers. Yeah, keeping up to date on stuff for sure.
Yeah.
No flight glasses or boards. Yeah, well, not every brewery does flights though, Matt. So there's like I can understand from the brewery perspective on some that don't, because they say, well, they don't do it because they don't feel like they give you a full opportunity to find out if that's a beer you like. That's why they don't do a flight, because it's too small to really get into the beer. But at the same point, you're missing opportunities for clients to actually, or customers coming to experiment with what you actually have too. So it's a double-edged sword in that regard. Also, for allergy reasons, the bartenders need to know the ingredients to be. Good point. Very good point. Yeah, they definitely should know that as well. But don't worry. We got more on the list. We got more.
There's more. We got one towards the bottom that. There's one towards the bottom that we're both going to go off on.
If a space is disorganized and messy, I can't say I've been to a lot of breweries where it's disorganized, but I have been to some where it's kind of like not really a full room, so to speak, but there's still tables that haven't been bussed yet or cleaned. It does put a thing in your mind, like, what's going on here? It's not like a full thing. Now, sometimes people can be understaffed. They might have been swamped. It could have been a shift change, right? It could have been some stuff happening. So you try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But if you're there for a bit and you're noticing those type of things, and it's just like, what is going on? Or if you're at a place and like it's a brewery with food and you're eating it, and a person comes there to the table next to you, like the busboy, you don't want the busboy slopping shit around while you're trying to eat, right? There's a way you kind of get stuff off the dishes, not just there throwing in the bucket, like might be splashing some stuff too, right? So there's some different things along those lines as well. The disorganized, I mean, you never know if it's a new person that's just kind of getting their feel about stuff. I can give a little bit more of a gray area in that one, but the messy is definitely bad in my book.
Yeah.
I mean, walking to a brewery, you see dirty tables, knowing how sanitation plays into brewing. If you see messy tables, it makes you think about how sanitation is in the back. Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Thoughts you have on that one?
No, I agree with that. I definitely agree. I mean, clean it up. I mean, just clean it up. It's not that hard. Clean it up. Even if you're short staff, the person behind the bar could be like, I'll be right with you. I have to clean this table. And no one's going to really argue with it. They're like, oh, okay. If I'm sitting there and the bartender tells me I'll be right back in a second, I got to take care of this table. You're like, okay. The person's
Yeah.
doing their job. They're being conscientious. I get that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, how many times has that actually happened? And you're like, okay, that's fine. You've been acknowledged, and it's just like, no, let's get this out the way, and we'll get you all settled. Okay, that's cool. Just but that acknowledgement part. Some places just they'll do that. Or you walk into a place and it's like, just sit where you want. Like, kind of like, okay. I mean, depending on the scenario, if it's after a ball game, like that, everything in this packed. Okay, that makes sense and stuff. But it's kind of like, there's kind of a warm feel that should come in. Again, I tell breweries when I talk to them, you're in the hospitality business.
Yeah.
You got to be hospitable at some point. If you're trying to win people over, every little thing you do matters.
Yeah. Or even if like the server says, you know what, I got to take care of these tables. Is there something I can get you before I go? Then you're thinking, all right, this person acknowledges me, acknowledges that I'm here. They got to take off for a few minutes, but at least they ask me, hey, do I need anything? That way you can't get pissed if they don't come back for 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Ryan said, I think breweries would be better served doing deals on flights and on pints, allows people to sample things they might not otherwise and find new favorites. That could be a thing. I know from talking to some of the breweries I've talked to, the thing you have with the flights, another reason why some breweries don't like to do them is not if their profit margin doesn't help them as much on the profit margin doing the flight. So I think that you're dealing with a skinny line anyway for them to earn and to build, income off of it. So I think that kind of can play into it. But yeah, I agree. Like being able to do stuff like that on the sampling things would be good. I would say, a lot of breweries, they could just do something, have ticketed events for stuff where you can get a sample and do flights that way and allow people to try a lot of routine things. And you can uptick the cost of coming to that event. So you come to an event, you pay $25 and you get a flight of 7 different beers or whatever to try to learn your palate and stuff, rather than having to fickle through and try to figure out the stuff yourself. It could be a good opportunity. If there are too many tap lines, this one I'm kind of on. It's kind of like too many tap lines. They talk about here, if they have too many, it might be hard to maintain them all, and you could have issues with some of the other taps having bad beer. I know breweries that have 20-something, 25 taps, never had an issue with it. I think you can maintain it and stuff, but that doesn't really off-put me as much as a red flag. Now, if I get a bad beer out of one of the taps and everything, then it's kind of like, okay, well, that could change the perspective. But I think just because they have a bunch of tap lines, you look at something like a Yard House. A Yard House will have 140 beers, and they run good tap lines. Everything I've known about them and over the years that what they do, don't have an issue usually. So I think that was a little bit more out there for me.
Yeah, I mean, especially if the place is busy. If it's like a place that's dead, you're wondering, like, how old are some of these beers? But, if the place is hopping like a Yard House or something like that, and they have good turnover, I mean, it just shows, especially if we're talking about breweries like this article is, that just means the brewery's successful, that they could have 25 different beers on tap, and they must be doing something right. So that doesn't affect me that much.
Yeah, because I think here at Matter Ryan, you might know a little bit more closer as well, but I think like say Mad Tree, they have like 20 tap lines probably. Rheingeist has probably about 15 or so. Last time I've been to Rheingeist, it's been a while. Sam Adams does about 12 to 15 or so. I've never had an issue with any of those places, any of the beers and stuff like that and everything. Now it becomes a point of what do you consider to be too many tap lines, right? But I think they can still maintain a good amount. I mean, so I don't think that should be an off-putting thing in itself.
No.
And Matt says, I guess I didn't realize the margin was skinnier on flights. I agree with Ryan. Sometimes you don't want to risk a pint on a beer style you may not like with the flight. I can try to breathe. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just there is the profit margin to gain off of it. That's why some of the breweries don't like to do the flights. But again, you can increase the profit margin. It's like, I've been to some places and you get a flight of 3 beers and it'll be, I don't know, $15 or whatever. And I've been to some places where you get a flight of 5 beers and it'll be $10, right? So it's a matter of how the breweries actually set those things up too. I mean, the thing I always talk about, like the thing with brewing beer and the breweries, they're literally like a lot of the places I always consider them like as artists. Just like if you were dealing with the artists, they want to get the final product out there. They don't care about the money. They're just trying to make a nice product to put out there and kind of design it. And then that's why you got to have that person on the business sense in the back room. Like, hey, we need to kick this uptick. I mean, I mentioned last show, going to Kroger, you got Bourbon County chocolate praline stout on the tap, $8, which I think $8 is a great deal alone. The guy told me at Kroger when it first came out, it was $6. And I'm just like, oh, I would have been here crushing at $6 even. Like, and somebody from the back office said, no, that's too low. It needs to go to $8. Like, I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to price your stuff.
That was a Rod J deal right there. You missed out on that.
I did miss out on that one there. $6, shoot, you'd have been dragging me out literally from Kroger at that point.
You would have changed your address.
Yeah. Ryan said, definitely too many. Third Eye has 20. Ryan Guy has even more than downstairs. Yeah, Ryan Guy has the downstairs. They have the upstairs. So, they have different stuff happening. But if they have the personnel that can monitor and make the switches as needed, it might not be as big of a red flag, I should say.
Yeah.
But if there are no food offers and no option to bring your own. Now, I don't know any breweries that don't offer food but won't let you order food in.
Yeah. I don't see that by me.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like one of the weird state things this person's writing about, but most of the all the breweries I've seen that didn't have food, you could order food in. So even some that had a food truck, you could still order food in. So that one's kind of like, I don't know what's going on with that one.
Yeah, like there's places here that even have like a menu list, like, hey, no, we don't offer food here, but these are close by restaurants if you want to look at the menus.
Yeah. Ryan, you're funny there because you know what? I did look on the chart because they have the price of the pint glass, they have the price of the crowler or growler. They had an X between the crowler and growler. Because I like what you're thinking there because I would have definitely gotten a growler on my takeout from leaving Kroger that day if they did. Yeah. At the price margins they have, I would have definitely got something there.
You'd have taken PTO the next day doing a growler of that.
Right.
Yeah.
If your beer can is gushing now, again, most breweries are getting stuff off draft.
Yeah.
But people have bought beers from places or have beer sent to them where it's kind of gushing, or breweries have had to recall stuff because of being overly carbonated and fermentation taking place in a can. I don't see this as being a big thing that happens a lot, though, at breweries because it's on draft most of the time.
Yeah.
And then if this one
here we go. Here we go.
Wait, do I have my thing here for the Dirty Glass Mafia? Let me see here. Give me a second here. Where is it here? Oh, not there. Oh, don't tell me I don't got it on here. I'll be pissed if I don't have it.
Yeah. Oh, that's my biggest pet peeve right there.
All right, let's see here. Oh, it's not working for some reason.
Oh.
Anyway, I was going to go into my whole thing here about the Dirty Glass Mafia, but for some reason my Godfather seems not working right now. Oh, I think it changed. Something changed on this thing. Anyway, Dirty Glass Mafia. Let's talk about it here.
I mean,
Your
it's
glasses.
It's something you should know. Any brewery worth its salt needs to know about this, and if they don't, that's like the biggest red flag to me. And not even breweries, like restaurants. If you serve me beer in a dirty glass, that will be the last time I go. The meal could be phenomenal. I will not go back.
Right. And the thing that is funny that I find sometimes is that some of the people that are with breweries, associated with breweries, will post photos online about beers at their brewery, and the glass will be dirty.
And that just turns me off. Like, I don't need to buy your beer.
Right. It's like, dude, do you not see the same picture I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Like, that is not a clean glass. And for those of you watching that aren't familiar, so with beer itself, there's clean, but there's also beer clean.
Yeah.
And if you go to a brewery or you go to a bar and you have beer, you have bubbles sticking to the side of the glass.
Yeah.
That's not a beer clean glass. You've basically got a cleaner and all kinds of stuff in that glass that shouldn't be there. There should be a rinse that should have taken place to get that stuff out of there. And most good breweries, just about all the good breweries, will have like the rinser on the draft line where they'll rinse it before they pour the beer into it as well. And it's just so unappealing. And it's kind of like, and I see people that go to a brewery that aren't with the brewery, they're just people drinking beer. I take a picture of it, and then it's like people are online like, dude, did you send that back? Like, that's not an appropriate offering that they gave to you there. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, you shouldn't have that on. And you got to get the beer. The glass has got to be clean. They got to be clean. So, and that's one of the things there too. If you're at home, a lot of times people will just throw their stuff in the dishwasher, which, you're home, you're doing what you're doing. Essentially, you're always better off if you hand clean your beer glasses because you get rid of that stuff and give it a nice rinse before you pour a beer. But you don't have to do it that way. But I'm just saying, if you're at an establishment and you're paying them money to get a decent beer, they should be able to provide the proper glassware. And for the breweries that are working with them, they want their beer shown in the best light. So if they're not doing clean glasses, what's that say?
What
about
else don't
them?
they care about? Yeah. And another thing, and it does not with breweries because they're better at it, but like restaurants who don't clean their tap lines regularly, that just puts me off. And you could tell right away, like I've gone to a place, pretty popular bar, and like I could tell this was not the beer I ordered. And it was, I think I ordered like 3 Floyds, like Alpha King or something like that. And I'm like, this isn't Alpha King. I said, it's Alpha King out of a dirty tap line. And then like the servers like looking at me like I'm the jagoff. Like, this is not the beer I ordered. I'll just go with water at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not getting beer clean glasses, definitely walk away for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny. We talked about Sycamore earlier on some of their stuff, but the beer names are offensive. You do have some parts of the population that are not going to want to partake in your beer. I mean, there was one of the guys in another chat that I'm on online talking about beer earlier, and one of the beers that were released was called Wet Beaver. And there was a reference made into it as well. And it's just like, and he's like, well, that's the only beer they actually have here. Like, I wonder why. They probably can't get any other beers, so everybody's probably kind of offended by what they do have there. We talked about like some of the labeling on the Sycamore stuff earlier. Yeah. This stuff does come into play.
What's the one? We talked about Flying Dog earlier, Raging Bitch they have.
Well, Pearl Necklace they have, which is the oyster stout. Yeah. But it's kind of like there are some, I mean, they don't really get to me as much on a lot of the stuff, but it's kind of like, I think of the one that Against the Grain had down there in Louisville. I can never get into getting it because it was like a guy taking a dump on the can label. And it was just like, I forgot what the name of the beer is, but it was always a put off. I never ended up trying that beer because it was just a put off to me. So that stuff does come into play.
Yeah.
Let me see here. And what was the other one? And so that was the last one there, but the offensive stuff that comes into play. But absolutely. Am I getting feedback from my side or?
No, I'm not getting anything.
Okay. I think I heard the thing there.
I'm going to grab another. I'm going to grab one more. So hold on one second.
Okay. I am actually going to get into the West Six Bourbon Barrel Christmas Ale. So this is one I picked up at one of our local spots here. I want to say it might have been over at Beer Cellar. Christmas ale aged in bullet bourbon barrels. This one comes in with an ABV of 11%. Love some West Six. Haven't really had West Six too much. That's coming back to Cincinnati, but always enjoy their beers. And looking forward to seeing what this one has to offer. I've had their Christmas ale in the past, which is solid in itself, but now I'm going to go ahead and get into the barrel aged version. West Six. Like anything on West, you got to say it like Ice Cube nowadays.
Yeah.
It just feels right. There you go. Well, it's a Christmas ale. It's dark. It's Christmassy. Tan head. Ooh, it's like a little ginger note there. This is a spice kick. Definitely get the bourbon coming out. West Six is just a banger of a brewery. A little bit of a kind of like a little bit, maybe a cinnamon, nutmeg.
Okay.
Definitely get the spices going. That is smooth. The creamy base on this thing alone. Do get the bullet bourbon. Do get the bourbon feel coming through. But it is so smooth. Got a little bit of a chewiness into it. Yeah, that's Christmas in a glass for sure. La 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 la.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a little bit of an after appeal of the chocolate. The chocolate, but it's got like a, you don't really get caramel, but you get that caramel slickness with it in the base.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's got like a little bit of a layer appeal. I like that. As Dumb and Dumber would say, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yep.
And what did you end up getting there?
I grabbed Sierra Nevada, their Trail Pass Golden. Decent.
Oh, okay.
Decent. It's
That's
the last
another
of
one.
my mix pack. I grabbed a mix pack of theirs, their NA stuff. So a decent beer.
So it's like part of their like a golden ale is based off of probably.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
of all of theirs, they had a Brewveza, which is like it's not a Mexican lager, but it's like an ale with lime. I thought that was decent. And their IPA, like the hazy, I think I did it on a couple weeks ago here, and it was just dank.
Yeah.
It tasted better than it smelled, but the golden's like, it's middle of the road, but definitely like their IPA, solid. That one, like you could buy in just 6 packs. That one's good, although I think I'd have to put that Sam Adams, just the haze above it. And, you know, some of the other stuff from Go is really good too.
Well, this one here, this is an interesting one that I'm going to bring up. Because I found some interesting just tidbits with it as I was looking at it. I was like, 2026, like, why are these things still out there, right? So this beer is illegal in more than 50 countries, and we made it that way on purpose. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at this article or not, right?
No, I have not yet.
Yeah. So this was a beer made by women, kind of hitting on some of the different international things that women actually face that violate laws in countries, which was interesting. Okay. So it makes mention here, made a woman every level, in an effort to highlight the absurdity and lack of fairness around the world when it comes to beer making. For instance, it's illegal for women to produce alcohol at all in Lebanon or work in a brewery with yeast in Sri Lanka. Like, why is the yeast in the women? They can't wear tight, low-cut jeans in North Korea or parts of Italy, which I'm like, how is Italy? Like, Italy's like a free Europe country there. Like, okay.
That
they
must
can't
be,
lift.
They must still, like, follow Mussolini in that part.
Yeah. They can't lift and carry heavy beer containers in nearly 24 countries. They can't drink beer while selling it. And this was interesting in beers in Wyoming. Here, they can't drink beer while selling it. In Mooresville, Pennsylvania, it's illegal for women to wear cosmetics without a permit, which I think that was like an older law on the books. I don't think anybody really enforced it, but it is a law they have there in Pennsylvania. All of this was done by the women who brewed the beer to make it as illegal as possible and draw attention to very silly laws that, even if not enforced, still remain on the books. It's just crazy, absurd stuff. And here's a look at the beer itself, which I think we all know what that is, right? So no need to explain that to anybody.
Yeah.
If I do, you need to go back to health class, back in school, with the birds and the bees. But but brewed by German breweries, Vagabond and Muschelkraft, the most illegal beer is very clearly meant to be provocative. But it's just interesting, just in 2026, that some of the BS that women still have to face around the world in like brewing beer. It's just like, why? Like, where's that all come into play? I mean, that's just ridiculous in my book.
Yeah, like who wrote the law about the cosmetics? Like,
right.
Or the low cut jeans.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
They ain't wearing yoga pants then.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It does say the most illegal beer is a pale ale made with Mosaic dry hops, pairs well with pizza. Based on reviews, the message is not just a marketing gimmick to cover for an inferior product either. It is one of the most underrated beers in the world. Hard to say, but it holds its own and scores fairly high in reviews. So people are liking the beer.
Okay.
It's
all right.
It's just interesting. I just saw that and it was just like, fellas, it's 2026. Like, why all the hostility still talking about the stuff here with women? That's just crazy. But we talked earlier about affordability. So let's talk about the 16 budget-friendly beers. See if there's anything we want to change on that. But interesting. People always trying to save $1, right? So 16 budget-friendly brews to stock your fridge. Do you have like a cheap beer you like to just pick up just to have around?
High Life tops the list. I don't mind High Life. PBR, I don't mind it. Like, I think if I had to pick out of the list here, like some of these I don't think are cheap. Like Sierra Nevada's hazy little thing, I don't consider that like a cheaper beer, but like Yingling I thought was solid. Modelo, like Modelo's fantastic. I like Modelo. I would drink that, or not Tecate.
Pacifico?
No, was it Victoria, I think.
Oh, Victoria from Mexico. Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah, Victoria was, I just had that the other day, and that was pretty decent. But yeah, I'll pick up like High Life or like PBR, because they always have that deal by me where you can get a 30-pack of it for like $14 and then get a $10 rebate. I'll drink PBR for $4 for a 30-pack.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
Well, this was from portsdrinking.com, like we did with the stouts, but best overall value, Miller High Life. I can't complain on that. I mean, my grandparents, I've told this story many times, used to drink Miller High Life. It was the first beer I started sipping on as a kid, getting them beers, right? So I always has a nostalgia, and it's a decent adjunct lager. It works. Yeah. Best case bargain. Now, hams. No, we all know if you bought hams is pretty hard to beat. $15.20 for a 30-pack. The only thing I can see maybe close to that, possibly depending where you're getting it, might be Genesee. Genesee might have some deals close to it, but hams has always been like, if you want to get a case, you're going to save some money with that one. Yeah. Because you might say, well, Milwaukee's, you don't want to get Milwaukee's best. You don't want to. Nobody wants a case of that. Yeah. No. Best Chris Lager, Narragansett. Which, come on, Quint was drinking Narragansett in Jaws, so we got to give a shout out to him for that, for Jaws here. Best value import Modelo, which was the leading beer for a while. Which with things happening right now, it's kind of falling off because a lot of people can't leave their house to go get the beer they want to go get because they might not make it back home. We won't get into all of that though. So, but yeah, that's Constellation Brands will tell you about that was taking place. Best multi-pick Yingling traditional lager.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with some Yingling. Best value stout. We got another Guinness Draft in here. Now, as a value stout, maybe Guinness Draft isn't as expensive. I guess you could. I can't think of the last time what it would be for like a 4-pack or a 6-pack of it, depending. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to cost you a lot, I don't think, on the Guinness Draft. Best hop value. See, that's where the hazy little thing comes in, right? Because you got to have a craft brewery for that. And so if you're getting like the 2 for $6, like you get on the stovepipe cans, that's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal. Yeah. Best craft crowd pleaser. I've had the 805. 805 is a pretty easy drinking lager. 805 is solid. So, yeah. But
still my favorite. My favorite of the macros, and it's still hard to find, but when I see Schlitz, you can usually get it for like $8 or $9 a 12-pack. I always grab it.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned Schlitz before, and somebody told me they are getting Schlitz. I think it might be out in Arizona is where they're getting it at there now, but it's still in distribution.
Yeah, it's just hard to find. PBR. So Pabst puts it out, and even because like I have a Schlitz hat and I wore it once in the Binnies, and even like the delivery driver, he must be working, with Pabst. He's like, well, we don't have your beer. He's like, we put it out when we get it. He's like, we don't get it all that often. Yeah. And then Matt said Modelo was a solid cheap beer. Yeah, it's solid. And Modelo Oro is pretty good too. I haven't had the Oro, but I've had the Negra as well. Yeah. Yeah, I do like the Negra even more than a regular Modelo. I think it was Modelo, and I didn't have it yet, but a buddy of mine, they had like a Christmas version. And he said that was pretty solid. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. It had like a red label, and I guess it was a little maltier, but I'm like, I have something I would try. I had a funny story about the Negra, but I might tell that later. Well, I did one time when I ordered at Chipotle one time. It was funny. Yeah. Lone Star beer. No one ever talks about Lone Star. I do remember having Lone Star a few times. I actually got a Lone Star necklace around here from one of the beer fests as well. Lone Star wasn't bad. That's not a bad one to actually drink. Yeah, it was all right. Genesee Cream Ale. I know a lot of people that like Genesee Cream Ale. I know a lot of people that like that. I mean, it's almost like Genesee Cream Ale is like the king of cream ales for folks. Yeah. I haven't seen a Rainier beer in a long time. Yeah, it's been ages since I've seen a Rainier beer. Yeah. You've had this. Well, that's not the one I'm thinking about. Blue Moon Belgian White, but you just did a review on Blue Moon Belgian. The Imperial. What did you think of that? I haven't watched your video yet, but was it like... I think it was Cincy Brewdads that mentioned it. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But somebody mentioned it on one of these. And I'm like, all right, I saw it in the stovepipe. It's just something like that style does not need to be Imperial. It just tasted like a boozy Blue Moon. Didn't do anything for me. I didn't dump it. I didn't, throw the rest of it out. Yeah. But it just, there's better beers out there. I think a Belgian White needs to be lower in alcohol. So didn't do much for me. Okay. And then we did this again. It's fat. Let's see. Here's the thing. Fat Tire is not the same Fat Tire it was before. So I feel like it's getting a falsehood about that right now. The old Fat Tire, that was a go-to for a lot of folks. The new Fat Tire, not as much as it goes now. Yeah. I have not bought that since when they came out with the revamped, they did the repackaging and the new recipe. And I'm like, this is not good. Yeah. Haven't bought it since. Now, I have not done Busch Light, but I've actually had people tell me they do like Busch Light. So that's kind of interesting. So I may have to do a review on that one to check it out. But that's on there as well. Find that. Are you going to commit to a 6-pack of that? No, I think we can get some of those in like the Tall Boys, I believe. Okay. I'll have to check when I'm at Kroger next time. I'll have to look. Yeah. But a lot of like the Busch Apple as well. I've never done that, but people tell me that's actually pretty decent. So, and they got a peach too. I think they have a Busch Light peach. Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes they put those in our Kroger Make Your Own 6-pack. I feel like that's so undervalued to take up a spot in the 6-pack, but it's almost like, how is she going to get it, right? You know, I'm not going to buy a whole 6-pack of it, so you might have to pay up for it. Yeah. And Shiner Bock's always been pretty good in my book. I mean, I feel like it's always a nice, easy drinking beer to sit back and enjoy. So.
Yeah, that never did much for me. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It just wouldn't be the first thing I would grab, or nothing I've ever said, oh, I have a taste for a Shiner Bock.
Yeah. I don't know why they have it as an international dark lager, though. That has me questioning at portsdrinking.com.
Yeah.
One, it's done here in the States. Two, it's a Bock. So, yeah, Ports Drinking. I don't know where you're going at with that one. But what counts as a cheap beer today? Widely available in grocery stores. Well, that's a state if you have grocery stores and Walmart and big box. Usually under $1 per 12 ounce if you buy larger packs. Or in the value tier of 6-packs and 12 packs compared to craft options. So that's how they had the criteria for it. Yeah, so interesting. Again, always fun to take a look at some of these lists as people come out with them during the course of the beginning of the year. You know, you're doing a dry January, which makes this kind of fun because not everybody's doing a dry January, right? But you may be trying to find other things you can do to moderate as well, which I'm not happy about this guy to his belly on here as well. And there's never been a beer belly thing. Like, it's just you drink more, so you eat more. But doctors will tell you there's no such thing as a beer belly. But anyway, that dude, glad he didn't show his headshot because that dude would be like, dude, really? Was that you? But 7 beer belly hacks that don't require dry January. And this is something I've thought about more recently that has started to hit a little bit. Drink earlier in the evening. They recommend you want to get at least 3 hours between your last beer and the time it is to go to bed. I do a lot of the beer reviews at night because we work during the day. All of us kind of work during the day, right? So I do the reviews, and it's kind of like the next one I do feel a little bit there, but I've been trying to space it out a little bit more. But as far as a health hack, if you can actually plan it where you're getting that 3-hour distance in between you, supposedly that'll help you out there as well, too. So just something to keep in mind. Alternate each beer with water, which I've always heard that's a good idea. And I do have water here, but actually I've not drank it tonight. So I kind of failed that part. But anyway, alternate between them is a good thing. High protein meal before drinking. Actually, I'm going to eat after this. So I missed that part too. But it's the weekend, so I'm okay. But but eating a high protein meal before you drink, and obviously we go to the different beer stuff. You want to make sure you have some food in your belly because that does help to soak up the alcohol. We all kind of know that out there. Choose low calorie, low carb beers. We know about that as well. Skip the greasy bar snacks, but they're so good. They're so good. Like you
need to put some food in your stomach. So if you need a snack, veggie sticks. No bar has veggie sticks. Get the hell out of here.
If I'm at a beer festival, if I'm at a beer fest and someone says you want to try the candy bacon, hell yeah, I want to try the candy bacon. Give me that greasy thing. Yeah. So
you're not getting grilled protein at a fucking bar. Come on.
There's no chicken skewers here.
Yeah.
Take a 10 to 15 minute walk after drinking.
And get hit by a car?
Well, I mean, you could.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
If you do it earlier in the day, it might work. But if you're drinking at night, I don't think you want to go hey, honey, I'm going to take a walk around the block. At 10 o'clock at night? I don't think so. Right. But
after drinking? Get the hell out of here.
No, if you got a treadmill in your house, you could do the treadmill. Treadmill could work. But who's going to want to take a treadmill walk after drinking a beer? You're relaxed. Yeah. And now you got to go work out a little bit? No.
Yeah, I'm having barrel aged, and let me hit the treadmill after this barrel age. Dude.
I would say put more walking into what you're doing during the course of the day, though. But after drinking,
No.
Yeah, I strength training 2 to 3 times per week, which I do recommend that because I've done that. I got to get back into the gym since we've actually moved back to the area. There's a gym close to us. I think I'm going to join, but doing some of that working out does, I know, help you out as well too. But if you can get that into your routine, just another way to kind of work the body and keep it going. But it says 2 to 3 sessions, 30 minutes, daily walking. Again, not after you drink. You don't have to go out there in the middle of the night. Like I need to walk off this beer I just drank.
Yeah.
But, just getting kind of worked in, protein meals before he drinks, beer and water alternation, which I think is a good idea there, although I didn't do it tonight. And then, put a little distance between the time you drink and the time you go to bed. So, which is what I'm getting actually better at doing that kind of stuff too. So, yeah, just some ideas, it's that everybody's not doing dry January, but there's other ways you can actually go about it. Let's see here. Flat tire changed. I want to say it was like a couple years ago. Is that when it was? Dave?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like 2022, maybe. It was like the same time that, it was the same time that like Sam Adams reformulated the Boston Lager. So maybe 3 or 4 years now, but the fat tire change, if you see it in, if you see it in like the blue label or the blue 6-pack, that's the new one. And
it was before Sam Adams did everything. But it was Sam Adams, they did a little change in the recipe. It wasn't like Fat Tire where they pretty much threw out the old recipe and made something new. Yeah. Busch Light is okay if you like water. Well, that's what I got Coors Light for there, Matt.
Yeah.
And if I go somewhere with absolutely no craft choices, I get a Mick Ultra. Well, Mick Ultra is the #1 beer now.
Yeah.
So
I could honestly say I've never had a Mick Ultra.
Really?
I have never had a Mick Ultra.
I've had it a few times. I have no problem with it.
Yeah. I might have to grab one in February.
It's the #1 beer now in America. So after Modelo fell down. So, and then we're going to pull this one up here, because both of us have done some different things with this company. So I'm going to definitely give them their props and shout out to Sean for sending this along as well. And you can actually see this. And this is why you should follow the Rod J BeerVentures blog, because this stuff is other stuff out there that you won't see on YouTube if you follow the blog and the website. So Firestone Walker, 30 years of shaping the landscape. They're in their 30-year anniversary this year. So, wait a minute. I got a thing for that too. Well, my thing isn't working, but applause to them. So shout out to Firestone Walker for 30 years in the biz and providing some great beers, shaping the landscape of American craft beer. If you go out to this Rod J BeerVentures site, there's actually a video you can link to here that takes you into it, which I could actually play that here in a second, but they're recognizing, the stuff they've done over the 30 years. The DBA was their first beer. That was the first one they launched back in the day. And then they kind of went from that point building out. They're bringing back a variety pack. So they have the Easy Jack, which was like their, I think, first like IPA type offering.
Yeah, it was like a session.
Yeah, and they're bringing back the IPA mix pack.
Yeah.
Which has the Union Jack, which we both have had, of course, the IPA, the Easy Jack, and then this one here as well, which as I look at my screen, let me go back up here to see, because it has all of them mentioned here. I can find it. Yeah. Union Jack Firestone IPA and a limited edition double IPA. So that's one called Diesel Thunder. Diesel Thunder. Yeah. So, which I don't know. We may find out. Sean may reach out to get us those. We'll see. He's like,
that would be something I'm going to pick up regardless. Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely pick that up as well. Firestone Walker, phenomenal job over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Let me see if I'll pull the video up here and take a look. So I think I'm pretty good showing theirs.
Yeah.
Dudes, but you get your commercial off my.
Dude, you got to get an
Yeah.
ad blocker. Ad blocker is the best thing I ever did. It's like $2 a month, and I don't get any of that.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. You're not seeing the video, are you?
Nope.
Okay. Let me switch to the thing. It switched screens on me. Stop that one. And we're going to share this one here. Here we go. So we're looking at the Sam Adams video. You see it now, though.
There we go.
And beer, boring. There's no taste. So this guy, and eventually these guys right here and here set out to brew the world's greatest beer.
At first, we struggled a lot. But we kept going!
Over the years, they defined craft beer, built on hard work, family, and grit. It's what still drives them to this day. So chase that dream, show up, mess up, but always pour it all in. Here's to 30 years of blood, sweat, and beers.
But mostly beers.
Firestone Walker, beer before glory.
All right. So, yeah, shout out to Firestone Walker on that and all the good stuff they're actually doing. I got a few of the Firestone Walker stuff I need to crack open at some point, the different parabolas. I could probably do a vertical on some of the stuff I've got in the cellar, but I hate doing them because once you do them, they're gone. It's like the 30th anniversary that we got from them. It was like, all right, now I'm out. It's a bittersweet moment.
But if you don't drink it, you'll never know how good it is.
Look at that. Better to have loved than not loved at all.
Yes.
We'll start going down the lines here.
Yeah.
Ryan says, you're not missing anything by not having an Ultra, Dave. So there you go. But it's an experience. I need to try something about Firestone Walker, especially after hearing you guys. Yeah, Firestone Walker is definitely putting out some great. You've always put out some great things. Yeah. And, you know, when I went back to Jersey, it's funny. I go back to Jersey and it's like, I see Firestone Walker on shelves and it's just like some of their brown box stuff, which is their more higher end stuff. And they're like $5, $6.
$5.
And I'm like, what the? That's like you're doing 50% off. I'm like, well, let's see, we got 5 here. Well, 5 are going home with me. Like, just scoop them all up, you know? But that's just a funny thing. Like, knowing where beer is at certain spots is just like, people just don't realize it. They're like, oh, we got to sell it off, so we're going to cut it 50%. Really? Because
all right,
this could have lasted for years, but I'll go ahead and buy it now from you. But yeah, Firestone Walker, a phenomenal job overall. They're always doing some good things there. And this is a place you're familiar with, Eastern Market, right? Like, I don't know if you ever got anything from them, but they're have you ever heard of Eastern Market? I thought you hadn't heard of them for here in Michigan.
No, I've never had that. There's other places here that have done punchki beer.
Okay.
But I mean, these look pretty good as long as there's no lactose in them.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Well, you could ask 10 different people, but punchki, Pachki. I mean, I've always called them punchkis. I've heard like punchkis or punchkis.
I asked because I never knew. I was thinking I was thinking taxi, but I never knew.
Yeah, no, but it's a fried donut filled with like jellies or custards. They're big here in the Polish market, and they're always they're huge here in Chicago, like on Fat Tuesday. So people will load up on like a good bakery that sells them. You'll get like a dozen of these, and you're good to go, or you bring some into work, and they're always solid. But like Fat Tuesday is the big day here in Chicago because we have a big Polish community here.
See, I didn't even realize it was the Polish community as much. 'Cause I always think of it being tied to New Orleans and Mardi Gras, because that's when they used to come out with the Paxi stuff.
Mhm.
So that's what kind of throws me off there. But yeah, well, if that works, it works. But
Yeah.
they actually on Thursday opened up pre-orders, which apparently the lemon blueberry sour and the maple coffee pastry already sold out. Which anything with maple in it, I would. Yeah, I'm all over that one for sure.
Like that lemon blueberry sour sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great looking lineup on what they have here. The orange creamsicle. Yeah. You know, we have a one of the breweries here, Mad Tree, does a dreamsicle, and I'm like, it's like an orange creamsicle. So yeah, I'd be all over that one for sure. But that's coming out. So if you get a chance, if you're up in that area, you better reach out quick, because apparently they're selling them out when this new release taking place before Mardi Gras takes place. But cherry cheesecake imperial. Ooh, doggy. Yeah, load that baby up.
Yep.
So many different good beers that are out there. Just no time to enjoy all the stuff coming out. I got two beer fridges in my office, folks. Two. And I can't even get into it. And they're filled, and I got the beer cellar downstairs. So I'm like, there's not enough to actually do. I could literally have a block party for the neighborhood and still have beers left over, I'm sure. It's a good thing to have. But let's talk about where you're at there, Chicago.
Oh God. What do we got? The Goose Island?
Let's talk a little Goose Island, because I feel like people don't look at Goose Island as much as they used to. I think Goose Island has been more with the Bourbon County, and then people are kind of discounting the other stuff they're doing. I mean, the Goose IPA, not as great as what it used to be. I don't know if AB and Dev has something to do with it or not.
It's not the same IPA as it was. Like when it first came out, it was more of like the traditional English style IPA.
Right.
And then they transformed it into like an American West Coast, and it's okay. It's one of those things like when AB bought them out, like you could get it anywhere. I actually had a Goose Island IPA in Milan, Italy, of all places. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here. I might as well grab it, because they had nothing else. But I'm in Milan, Italy at a restaurant, and they're like, all right, I guess I'll have the Goose Island.
That's so funny you have that there. It's like being in Korea order nachos, but
Well, so we were going to this one restaurant, and we walked from our hotel, and the restaurant, the line was like around the corner, and we're both hungry. I'm like, I can't wait in this line. I'm starving. So Ruby was like, on the way here, we walked by this Mexican restaurant. I'm like, we're in Italy and we're going to go to I'm like, all right, I'm hungry. I can eat. So we went to this Mexican restaurant in Milan, and, Ruby, who's Mexican American. So, they were looking at us like we were savages, because we got tacos. You eat a taco with your hands. Well, these people are cultured. They were eating tacos with like a knife and fork. I'm like, it's a taco.
How do you do that? How do you do that with a knife and fork?
I mean, so we're just eating a taco, and I had a Goose Island IPA with a taco in Italy.
I don't know how you do it with a knife and fork on that. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, I forgot what politician it was. I went to New York, and dude from the Daily Show, I can't remember his name now. He was making fun of him. He was doing a knife and fork, eating a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
You pick it up, you fold it, you put it in your mouth. So I'm like, I don't know, knife and fork with a taco seems so wrong.
Yeah, remember, I mean, this is really aging us, but like, I remember way back in the 70s, like Jimmy Carter didn't know how to eat a tamale. And I think he was trying to eat like the corn husk. And like, oh, dude, that's not going to sit well.
Yeah. That's not the fiber. That's not the fiber you want, son.
Yeah.
See, check here real quick. Ryan said, I always say Patch Keys. Talking about the name. Matt, I want to come over and help you with the oversight. Yeah. I mean, literally, you could come over. We could do some stuff out here about some of the beers I have. Trust me, I have a good amount of beer to be like a patio type thing or something. You guys do the porch site. You guys do the porch beer reviews. I'll do the patio beer reviews. So y'all ever want to come up, let me know. I'm only around the corner from where Nine Giant was. But going back to the Goose Island, they get tropical with new beer release. So they get the Bear Hug series coming out, 9.9 across the board on the ABV. Now, I will tell you, I've had the Beer Hug. I had it when I was down in, I think, Florida a year or two ago. I didn't think it was that bad. I actually enjoyed it. So I'm kind of like intrigued by it. But I'm like, they are going the way of the Voodoo Ranger or the little thing, Hazy or whatever. Like, I can see them diving into this line and putting some stuff out. I don't know if you've had any of the Beer Hugs or what your thoughts are.
I had the tropical, and I had I think the regular one, and it was too boozy. It didn't need to be that boozy, but I get it. You want to spend $2.50 or $3, get a 10% beer. It's 19 ounces, so you're one and done. Yeah, they were okay, but it wasn't nothing like you could have more than one of those.
Yeah, I like how you say 19.2, you're one and done. I thought we knew each other, Dave. I thought we knew each other. Apparently, you haven't seen me go to work.
Well, I could do more than that if it was a good beer.
Yeah, well, true.
I'm not committing to two of those. One's enough of that.
Yeah. No, you do get some of that stuff there. It can weigh in on you, but kind of interesting seeing them going. But again, it's something where I think, and this goes back to what you were saying before when we talked about it, is it would have been nice to see if Sam Adams would have stuck with the Rebel beers they were doing, because, I've seen breweries kind of building these lines out now to see where they're actually going. Matt said we reviewed one on a porch and it was decent. So so Matt enjoyed it as well. Like I said, the one I had in Florida, I had no problem with, but they're definitely bigger ABV, and I think I had a stovepipe when I did that review when I did it at the time. So
I think I just did a review. I didn't post it yet on, let me see, which one was it? The tropical. So I'll post that next. I'll post that tomorrow. But it was one of those things. Thank you to TSA, because these people don't know you can't bring, more than 3 ounces.
That's the people that try to bring beer through and didn't realize.
No, this was somebody else. So one of my coworkers, she was like, and she had her arms full of shit. And I'm like, you got beer in your hand, girl. Oh, that's beer? Oh, I didn't know. Do you want one? Yes, I do. I'll take that.
I want one. Shit.
Yeah. I said, I'll take one. You could keep the rest. I'll throw this in my locker and bring that home. I don't have to go through TSA going home. I take the train. I take public transportation. I'll take that from you.
So you're saying TSA has some perks with the job?
Yeah. Especially me working right next to them.
Yeah. It's like, whoa. Let me talk to you, young lady. Yeah. That's funny.
You don't want to throw that out.
Yeah. Oh, let me see here. So you mentioned it, kind of hit on it earlier as we're going to head into it, but Great Lakes.
Yes.
Great Lakes says Irish themed party. Now, the party is actually taking place next Friday, January 16th. So you have to be up in the Cleveland area for that. But they will be having their Conway's Irish Ale, which I've had, and the Irish Stout, which I've had. But they're releasing the new Irish Lager, which I have not had. So that'll be exclusive to the party pack, they're saying. But with Great Lakes, I feel like at some point this should roll out in distribution.
Yeah.
But they're going to be adding to the Irish line there. The Irish Ale is, I've always been one of my favorite ales to actually sit and enjoy. And the Irish Stout, dry Irish Stout, I would put that there in that Guinness type category.
Okay.
Good beer. The Irish Lager, I'm interested to see what that'll actually do. It says brewed with lemon drop and Mount Hood hops. 5%
I love
alcohol.
lemon drop hops. Lemon drop hops you don't get a lot of, but lemon drop hops I really love them. So I might have to, if they don't distribute that by me, I might need a mail delivery from you on that one.
Hook a brother up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Irish inspired food specials will be available. They're going to be doing the Conway's Irish Ale with corned beef and cabbage, redskin potatoes, Reuben. You know, the first time I had a Reuben was actually last year. I've never had a Reuben until last year.
What?
And I was impressed. I don't know, something about the corned beef. It was just like, it didn't, I don't know, it never just sat right with me. I didn't know what corned beef really was. But I had a Reuben last year, and I was like, all these years I've been missing out on having you.
Now I make my corned beef. I make it with Conway's Irish Ale. So so I throw it in the crock pot, put a couple, I think they're in cans now, but back then, would always just crack open a couple bottles at room temperature, put that in the corned beef and let that go for about 8 to 12 hours and good to go.
That sounds good. Yeah, it's an Irish potato soup with Conway's. I like a good potato soup. I will say that for sure. But anybody up in the Cleveland area or toward that area, next Friday night, they'll be doing that. But if you're up and around that area, or you can get distribution of Great Lakes, be on the lookout for the new Irish Lager.
Yeah.
The Lager. So I know I would definitely be trying to find that. And then this was one that popped up later on when I was doing some research on stuff, which are kind of interesting because I've seen these before. We had, I think Braxton in Northern Kentucky had these, and I've seen a couple other spots around the country, but I never knew to really call them an igloo. But Third Nature Brewing keeps outdoor winter vibes along with warm igloos. Have you ever had something like this? Have you ever been to any place that has? Because you're in Chicago. Do they have igloos in Chicago, like at any of the breweries?
No, we don't have that here. It's Chicago. Where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put an igloo?
Put it in the courtyard, right? Like you have some spot,
like there were places during COVID that had little things like that for like you to eat outside, like during the winter of 2020. But where the hell are you going to put an igloo?
Yeah. You know, it's funny because me growing up in Jersey and you being Italian, when you said that, it just gave me a flat. It made me think of like Goodfellas around there. Like it was kind of like, where you gonna put that? Where you gonna put an igloo? It brought me back to the Jersey accent from growing up with my friends that were Italian.
What are you gonna put it in the alley? Where the fuck are you gonna put an igloo in here? You're Michigan. You got wide open spaces. You got nothing better to do. You can put an igloo out there.
True. Yeah. That's kind of a cool little concept. They'll go in and get a little igloo. I guess you rent the space for a bit or you have a reservation and kind of go out there. And I mean, I'd rather be inside a brick type building, but I guess if you're having a date or something like that, it'd be kind of a cool type thing to actually do. Those are spacious,
Yeah. Maybe put it on, that's Minnesota. You can put it on a frozen lake and do some ice fishing too while you're there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I can't say I've went igloo beer drink at all, but
no,
an interesting concept there. And you see here, now this is kind of something, and the last thing we have here for the beer news, kind of interesting because I think this is a great opportunity. Like you mentioned earlier, how we're both ambassadors for Go Brewing, and hopefully, they kind of saw this out there and kind of tapped into it. I know they work with some breweries on doing this, but if you're a brewery out there, it makes much sense to. If you don't want to make the NA beers and you're in Michigan, they passed a law where now they're able to sell non-alcoholic beers from other breweries. And this has been an opportunity that Go Brewing has been able to work on where you don't want to make it? That's fine. We'll go ahead and ship our stuff in and you sell and you get a part of the cut of the profit or it may be. But I mean, I think it's a smart move. I think it's an opportunity that it gets other people in the door because we talked about before, if you got a party of people going out and some people don't want to drink or don't drink. If you can get something to offer them while they're there with their friends, you get a chance to get the whole party into your spot versus going somewhere else. So this was something that just happened recently where now they can sell non-alcoholic made by other breweries.
Yeah, that's weird. Like I didn't know they had that law because like here, there's a lot of places that, they offer like even before like NA started becoming popular with Athletic, like they would offer a cider if somebody had like celiac or they were gluten free, or places that, you know, they would make like craft sodas, like Half
Right.
Acre, which is before it like moved, when Half Acre is at the Hop Butcher now, they would always have like a tap line of this craft soda, and you could get a growler, and they were excellent. So yeah, having like, you know, something more non-alcoholic options out there for people, it's just smart. Just another way to get people in your establishment.
I think so. I definitely agree there. And Ryan, the best beer hug I had was called Big Juicy Beer Hug.
Yeah.
And I just had a Reuben this week with Get It in place of the corned beef. Highly recommend. I don't know, Ryan. And then Matt said, is that even a Reuben anymore?
Yeah.
Because you're taking out the corned beef. Like, it's Geta. And for those that don't know Geta is it's basically the other pork parts. I said the other pork meat, and it's kind of like done with grains, all kind of stuff, and kind of rolled into a thing. In the Northeast, we have scrapple that kind of is almost similar to it. Yeah, so it's kind of like that type of texture. But they have a Geta Fest here, which I've never really got into because I'm not a Geta type fan, but they do Geta dogs and Geta burgers and all kinds of Geta things. And it's just like, I'm going to get it out of here.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
They also have a beer, bacon, and bourbon festival. Now that I'm on board for.
Yeah.
But a lot of good things there. But yeah, that's the beer news that we had for this show. And then we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another show with some more of the updates. Anything that you want to add here, Dave? Or
no, I'm getting ready. I'll put an episode out Monday, just kind of like a hodgepodge. I'm going to talk, kind of give like breakdown of the history of Athletic, because they're the hold on,
bacon, just bacon with a heart. Yeah,
I put the Bear game back on since we're wrapping things up here. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about like that. Have a couple NA stuff, and then I've got some other alcoholic beer segments that I recorded last month, so I'll include one of those. I'm going to be talking to the chief economist from the Brewers Association on Friday, so that'll be out the following week. We'll talk about like some of the things we talk about, like trends and the numbers, and you know, we've talked before. I don't think the sky is falling with beer. I'm more of a glass half full person. So I think there's still plenty of room for growth. So we'll talk about that, and, you know, talk about like looking in the crystal ball, what we see happening coming up.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think there's definitely still opportunity and still some good things happening. People need to not get hung up on the numbers. We have like 400 something closings, 200 something openings. So difference of like 150 ballpark or whatever, but there's still like 9,700 breweries in the country, which is still a huge number compared to what it used to be. So
compared to even 10 years ago, we doubled in 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a part of in my mind, is a part of the business cycle, part of that contraction type phase, which we needed because there were some breweries out there that just weren't delivering, and that's going to happen with any industry at some point. But good stuff there. And again, if you're not following Dave, make sure to follow Dave and check him out, beerinfront.com. And I just put a thing in there, should pop up on the website for him, but he has the podcast and stuff that he's delivering. For me, a lot of good stuff starting to come through as we start to build up into the new year. Tuesday night live stream, I will be back here again with Blue Ox Malt House. So we'll be talking about grains. If you're a home brewer, we'll have a lot of stuff we talk about, like home brewing and different tips and stuff like that we'll get into. So that'll be fun. Thursday night, what? Yeah, Thursday night, we are back in the house. A lot of people missed the Thursday night live stream. Me and Todd didn't have to. We weren't always happy about getting up in the morning to go to work the next day, but we're going to try to put some restraints on it. But Thursday night, we'll be back doing the live stream again. So that'll be 8 o'clock Eastern. And then the Tuesday following that Tuesday, we'll have Julie on. I'll have Julie Rose on from Kickfist. We're going to be talking about the THC market and the THC things that are taking place. So some good conversation there. In fact, I'm going to be sharing an unboxing here in the next couple of days that she sent from the Kick Fizz stuff. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And then that following Saturday, guess what? Me and Dave are back again with another Midwest Beer Show.
Yeah.
So a lot of good stuff coming forward. Make sure to stay in tune. Make sure to follow here on the channel, my channel, Dave's channel. Follow on the blog, the website. You can find a lot of good information there. You can also connect with me on the link tree, which is always good too, because there's some stuff that I will put out on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok that you may not see here on YouTube. So if you want to stay in the know on what we're doing, make sure to follow that stuff there as well. But no, outside of that, a lot of great stuff happened. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I appreciate everybody that's listening to this on the playback as well, which if you're on the playback and you make it this far in at 2 hours and 45 minutes, definitely appreciate you and love you for that and everything too. So yeah. Which I know a lot of people listen to the podcast and you take it in bits and pieces, which is great. Playing in the background while you're at work and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of good stuff happening. A lot of good beer things coming this way. So stay tuned. And that being said, we'll go ahead and get wrapped up and wish everybody the rest of a great weekend. And if you're watching the football games, hopefully your teams are doing well. I know Dave was yelling a little bit about the Bears being down 21-3 last check.
Yeah,
I know
we're down 6 now, so
okay, so there you go.
Bears defense got to stop somebody.
So they're trying to make a comeback there.
Yeah.
And I look forward to catching up with you guys on the next whenever I pop up here. So
all right.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers,
Have
everybody.
a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
We are out.